You're listening to littlepodcast.com.
Why you gotta take it there?
Retake. This isn't gonna work.
We're not talking about any integrity in
We
this
are
room.
trying to exploit a generation.
Ever tell you about that time when I paid for Chinese food with the DVD? The grease is the gravy.
You guys played footsie under the table.
Yes, but that's irrelevant. I can smell Pepto-Bismol from here. It tastes like an antacid tablet. Why are there so many Draculas everywhere? No, there's vampires everywhere.
Welcome to Born in the 80s, episode 169. And feeling fine. I'm John Rowe, your host, joined by my co-host,
Adam Ham.
Yep, we're here today on the year of our Lord 2015.
Yep.
May the 3rd. Because it's past midnight now.
It is.
In the Central Standard Time Zone.
Indeed.
And we're here.
Up for
queer,
some
get used
late
to
night
it.
Casting.
And by queer, I mean, like, weird.
Oh, yeah.
Not like
Sure.
the orientation.
Sure.
But, like, we're weird.
Yeah.
So you better get used to it.
Definitely.
This is Born in the 80s, a podcast about the 80s. Is that an inaccurate statement, Adam?
Yes.
It is. This is a podcast about everything
Yes.
having to do with...
It is the Seinfeld of podcasts.
Yeah, it's about nothing. It's a podcast about nothing.
Yep.
This is the John Rowe Chronicles.
Yeah.
The Seinfeld Chronicles with the actual original name of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because we named the Lazenby Chronicles the Lazenby Chronicles
That's true.
without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know what? I just realized I didn't get a drink before I sat down.
Awesome.
That's good.
I've got not one, but two drinks.
That's a bad thing because I'm going to be thirsty. So, Adam,
Yeah.
this is unprecedented of what's about to occur.
Yeah.
I'm going to need you
To vamp?
to vamp while I
All
go
right.
pour myself a glass of water.
All right.
All right, I'll be right back in like 2 minutes.
Sure.
Probably way less than that. But
I hope. Yeah.
Adam, you got something to get off your chest?
Totally.
I'm not going to hear it until I edit it.
Yeah.
This is your monologue time.
Great.
This is your Shakespearean soliloquy. Speak to the audience.
Okay. No need to raise expectations that high, but okay.
Adam will unleash the secrets of the world to your ears. He will penetrate your eardrums
Ooh, no, that
with his verbal spears.
That sounds painful.
He's going to poke a finger in the eye of God.
Ooh, yeah. You probably
The eye of
deserved
God is your butthole.
it. Ooh, oh.
That's what I call it.
Wow.
That's another name for the eye of God.
Okay.
You know why that? You know why it's called that?
No.
Because when somebody puts your finger in there, you go, God!
Oh God.
Oh, God!
Sure.
Yep. That's a joke I just made up at 12:17 a.m. I'll be right back. Adam,
All right.
wow them.
Okay. Hello there, listening audience. I've got you alone now, so it's time for me to speak on things. I just want to let you know how much I appreciate your listenership and how much I appreciate you all sticking with us for these years of podcasting and many, many episodes. The good times we've had. Highs, lows, middles, medians. It's been a great, wonderful, eye-opening experience for me. And I hope so for you as well. So I just wanted to take the time to let you know I appreciate you. And to let you know that John's taking a while to get his drink. So I'm just going to let you listen to the smooth, buttery sounds of my radio voice as I gently coo at you.
All right. Enough of that shit. I'm back
Okay.
from outer space. I got that same look upon my face. Something. I will
Just trying to do a
survive.
slam poetry festival? What's going on here?
You don't know the lyrics to I Will Survive?
Huh?
Adam, I was singing I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor.
Really? I don't remember that line.
At first I was afraid I was petrified.
Yeah, that I remember.
Okay. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side.
Sounds familiar.
But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, Adam.
Right.
And I grew strong.
Grew strong, yeah.
And I learned how to get along. And so you're back from outer space.
Oh, really?
I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your key. If I had known for just 1 second you'd be back to bother me. Well, now go, Adam. Walk. Let me do my Captain or my Bill
William
Shatner. Well, now go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with goodbye? Did you think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd lay down and die?
Oh, no, not I.
Oh, no, not I. I will survive. Oh, as long as you know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. There we go. Thank you. You're welcome.
I've got all my life to live. I've got all my love to give.
And then something. Yep, that's me.
Yep.
Adam, how's the vamp session?
Oh, it was great.
Like vamp from, whatchamacallit?
Metal
Metal Gear Solid 2?
Yeah.
Oh, Jinx, you owe me Coke.
Yeah.
Send me an E-Coke. I hear there's
on
there's a Silken Road you can get E-Coke on.
Yeah, it's...
I think.
I'm not sending you that kind of Coke.
You're supposed to use an Onion web browser.
Sure.
Tor.
Tor.
Everyone's supposed to use it, is what I hear.
Yeah.
Just because it's, like, encrypted.
I don't think it's so much... Well, it is encrypted, but...
It's encrypted and VPN ported around, I think.
Yeah, it's distributed.
So that way you can't be spied upon.
Yeah.
The government.
Unless they actually really want to find you.
Did you see that episode of Last Week Tonight when he talked to Edward Snowden?
I did.
That is an incredible interview.
Yes, it is.
My favorite part, though, was about the dick pics.
Yes.
That's what it devolves into. Literally, him having Edward Snowden explain to him how the NSA sees your dick pics.
Yeah.
Because they can. It's actually not 100% true. If you just texted someone your dick pic
Yeah.
and it didn't go...
Texting is actually one of the safest ways to transmit stuff
because
like
they
that.
can't really... They can't lock down. But
it's
if
under
you
phone
email
stuff.
someone a picture of your dick...
Yeah.
Or direct message on Twitter or any of that bullshit,
Or
or
send it through
Instagram,
any kind of data service.
and it just happens to go out of the country and
Mm-hmm.
ping back in, then they can snatch it because it's been communication between countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't do that. If you're going to send dick pics, do it via text message.
Mm-hmm.
Or just don't do it. Send a picture of your face, and then the dick is there when you're face-to-face.
Yeah. You know. Every once in a while.
Sometimes you gotta have a...
Or see a dick.
Sometimes you gotta have a dong shot.
Sometimes you gotta have a dong shot.
Sometimes it's warranted.
You're bored.
You're
Talking
bored.
to somebody.
You're talking to someone.
Yeah.
Dong shot.
Show me your dick. Come on.
That's right. And they do. They're
Yeah.
like, well, there it is.
Well, now I gotta show you mine.
Well, yeah,
Fair's
exactly.
fair.
That is the first law of the internet. Is you show me, I show you yours. You got to show me mine.
Totally.
Or yours. Sorry. I show mine. You show yours.
Right.
That's just how it works.
Reciprocity.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Mm-hmm. It's a new app I got
Reciprocity.
coming out. Reciprocity. Where you send a picture and then they have to send one back to see the picture.
Right.
How
Actually, that's a great idea.
I know, dude. I'm John, the idea machine.
That is actually an amazing idea.
I actually really like that idea.
We should make that.
Yep, it's like I feel like that wouldn't be difficult to code either. Because all you would need is the access to the photo.
Yeah, kind of. Man, I wish I knew how to actually make that.
But
That might be
it's going to be
amazing.
difficult, though.
Huh?
Because we're going to need penis and vagina, sensitive software. So the picture, so it knows it's a picture of it. Like,
no, but see,
it could say "dong not detected." Please take another photo.
no, but this is how this becomes widestream. Is though is you don't actually make it like that. So you can just claim it's for whatever pictures.
Yeah,
But you know,
you know. How about this? Users can it'll be self-monitored.
Yeah.
So let's say you want reciprocity from someone. You send a vag, if you're a woman, or boob.
Yeah.
One boob. You don't get two. You don't get two for free.
Boob.
You get one boob. So you send one boob, and the guy's like, all right, and then he sends you back the picture of his face going like, ha ha, downvote. Users that get too many downvotes, locked out.
Actually, you know what, though? You could almost do it almost like Snapchat, so if they send a picture, you can see it for like 3 seconds. Enough to tell whether it's a dong or a vajayjay.
Then they can double-click it to screenshot.
And then, well, maybe. I don't know. I guess there's that.
My Snapchat feed is all people's pets and food.
Right.
That's all it is. It's Instagram, but different.
Right.
But not public for some reason. I don't get Snapchat. I mean, I get it for sending funny faces to each other.
Yeah.
Being like, whoa, look at this. Or like kids in school are like, stuck my cell phone into class. I'll take a snapshot of the teacher when the back's turned.
It definitely skews toward the younger demographic, I think. It's all about
it's the first phone application that made me feel old.
Yeah.
Because it's like the step beyond like the Twitter, Facebook public sharing social space, and then the person-to-person private sharing.
Yeah.
Which is weird to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like weird. It's just weird. Different. Sure. I'm about living my life publicly.
Yeah.
Or at least open to public.
Right.
Because you get to choose what you share.
Right.
Whatever.
I mean, sometimes we want to share stuff with just friends and not have them have it forever.
What's Facebook? Oh, forever? I don't know.
Yeah. It allows you to be more dumb.
More dumb. Less consequences.
Exactly.
That's what we need.
Yes, that's what the internet needs.
Do you think, like, Chat Roulette has, like, a phone app?
Oh, God.
What's it called? Periscope?
Periscope is a live streaming...
It just live streams your broadcast from your phone camera.
Right.
That seems like a pretty cool app.
It would. I just don't think I would use it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, why wouldn't you just use, like, what is it, Ustream or any of the other streaming apps?
Those don't, but you can't actually record and live stream from a phone with those, I don't think.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you can, actually.
I think you can only view streams on phones with those apps.
I know that there are streaming apps, though, for phones.
Yeah.
There's no way that's the first one that's ever
I think it
with.
is. I think that's what Meerkat and Periscope, I think, are the ones that actually...
Meerkat? Let me guess. How's that spelled? M3ER cat?
No, actually spelled correctly, I think.
Oh, wow.
Meerkat.
Well, there it is.
Yeah.
If I would download that app with the expectation of 100% videos of meerkats.
Yeah.
It would be incredible.
You'd be disappointed, I think.
Meerkats are like prairie dogs, but worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, meerkats kind of suck, actually.
They look cool.
Yeah, I like prairie dogs, though.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Cool too.
I think in the meerkat versus prairie dog
seem
debate.
Smarter though, don't they?
Oh no.
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 I thought like meerkats had like a series of like crazy communication things.
That's prairie dogs too.
Oh, maybe I got mixed up.
Yeah, prairie dogs are like that.
Yeah, like they have their own like, whistles and calls for various things.
No, prairie dogs have that. Prairie dogs actually have. So I did a lot of research on prairie dogs in college.
Yeah.
For my like senior stuff about prairie dogs like behavior. And the way that prairie dogs work is that they can have different barking calls. You know.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a study that was done where they actually determined that the prairie dogs had specific calls for the different people. Like they were to determine different people.
Like they'd named them.
Yes, basically. Like, oh, it's red shirt coming in, or white coat coming over.
Right.
Yeah, they're actually pretty cool. So, prairie dogs are pretty much the exact same thing as meerkats. Very, very similar in a lot of ways. I'm sure scientists who are specialized in these two things would know quite a few different things.
Yeah.
More about how they're different, but they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, meerkats are cool. They eat insects primarily.
Insectivores?
Insectivores. Whereas I believe prairie dogs are the same thing. I don't think they eat animals, though. I think they're herbivores. Let's see here. Was it? Is it synonymous? Yeah. Yes, Synomus ludovicinus. That is the black-tailed prairie dog. That's the one you see. They have a jump yip that's amazingly adorable.
Yeah.
They bark and jump. They're hilarious. They're actually really well known because there's a lot of them. They actually have. Okay, I'm gonna get into some deep.
Do we really need to?
No, but they're actually really interesting and necessary for prairies because basically they dig up and aerate the soil.
Yeah, like all those little machines that
Yep.
poke holes in it.
They aerate soil, and when they're abandon their tunnels, they get water deep in them. It's just a way to churn the soil, basically. Actually, pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on from prairie
All right.
dogs. I could talk for hours about prairie dogs, Adam.
Let's not.
They carry the Black Plague.
That's wonderful.
They can.
I'm sure.
They can. Adam, how's your week?
My week was pretty
What
good.
have you done?
I watched a
What have you
lot
done
of
with yourself?
martial arts films.
Okay, that's interesting.
And
What films?
films of the wuxia
Wuxia.
genre.
Wuxia. As I see it spelled.
Yeah,
But it's pronounced wuxia, so this is Chinese.
it is Chinese.
Because I got X's in that bitch.
Yeah, I forget exactly what it means. Something like martial hero type thing.
Okay.
I discovered
What's-
there's actually not a ton of them that are good, high quality.
No,
films.
no way. Are you telling me there's a lot of low-quality martial arts films out there?
No, no.
Adam?
I mean, there's not as many because they kind of came into a bit of a fad not too long ago.
Yeah.
And there's just not a whole lot of good, well-produced ones in recent history.
Okay.
So these films are like House of Flying Daggers,
Okay, yep, I like that one.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon,
Yeah, that's a good one. That one won an
Hero.
Academy Award.
Hero.
Hero. Okay, yep, I know that one.
Going further back, Iron Monkey.
I haven't seen that.
Those are pretty much the only ones that
But you're
I've
talking
seen.
like fly-by-wire, basically.
Yes, the thing
Wire
about wuxia
fighting.
is they are martial arts films that have like a supernatural element to them.
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
So you'll have
Like Dragon
yeah.
Ball.
ish, but not usually like weird energy blasts and stuff. Although that can be a part of them. But like wireframe type stuff, like walking up walls and matrixy type stuff, kind of.
Yep.
Like balancing on treetops and sword fighting on top of that, and crazy
Yep.
flying daggers that don't do necessarily what flying daggers should do.
That's right. They don't 100% obey the laws of physics.
Right. And I don't know why, but I just I was rewatching, like, I think it was Hero because it was on my Amazon list.
All right.
I love Hero. I bought it. And,
Got on a kick.
So I was watching it, and yeah, I was like, damn, I want to see like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon again, and
Yep.
so I went back and like rewatched a bunch of these, basically the ones I listed,
Yep.
and I love them all. Then I started looking for more, and there's not a lot more.
Maybe there are, but they're like all Chinese.
I found a list
Like pretty okay.
of like 25,
Uh-huh.
and like the only it's like the best 25, wuxia films or whatever.
Yep.
All the ones I said are on that list, and all the other ones on that list are old.
Where's
And-
Shaolin Soccer?
Shaolin Soccer, that could be considered one, although that's more comedy. I mean, that and Kung Fu Hustle, and
Yeah, those are like wuxia though.
they are, but
They're wuxia
also,
comedy.
They're primarily comedy, I would say. Yeah, they are wuxia comedy.
Wuxia ha ha.
If you must, yes.
That's what they are.
yeah.
Wuxia ha ha. Yep.
So I think I'm about digging into some of these older ones soon. some of the better ones. I hear that the Dragon Gate Inn is a good place to start.
Yeah, that's a nice place to stay. I hear they leave the light on for you.
And a mint on your pillow. It's
A mint on your pillow.
Now, it's funny. There was kind of a remake for one of the newer ones with Jet Li called like The Flying Swords of Dragon Gate or something like that. I tried watching it. It's on Netflix. For one thing, no subtitles, dub only. And it is the most god-awful dub you have ever heard. And also that movie seems terrible. Like I don't know, it's so fucking weird. The dub is bad, and like the stuff they're doing looks really weird. I mean, it looks kind of modern and maybe better. Yeah, there's some money behind it maybe, but ugh, I couldn't watch it. So I'm thinking about diving into some of that.
Motel 6, pretty great place. Do you know about Motel 6, right? In Warwick, Rhode Island. Has agreed with the local police force following a spate of criminal acts, including child prostitution and an in-room meth lab. Per official policy, the company is now handing over to law enforcement a daily list of who's staying at Motel 6, so they can be screened for warrants and other criminal history.
That one or all Motel 6s?
Just that one.
Oh.
How crazy is that?
Very crazy, but why
would you
follow up
stay
my
there?
awesome Wuxia Film stuff with terribly sad things?
Well, I'm just going to say this, Adam. Motel 6, Google News search. Let's see what the first one is. Crime-ridden Motel 6 in Rhode Island will hand over guest list to police. Next one. One man dead in Motel 6 shooting. Next one. Plumbers spark 3-alarm fire in Motel 6.
Why do you gotta do this, John? Why?
Oklahoma City police identify man killed in Motel 6 shooting.
No, this was on the list.
Mom jailed after she abandons 4 children at the Motel 6. It's probably the worst place you can go and stay. Like as a chain. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You ever go by those shady motels, though? You're like, who
No.
the fuck stays in these places? You know what I mean?
People who want to not pay that much money to spend the night,
You go to like a Holiday Inn. They're not that expensive.
they're more expensive.
Not a lot more. Like maybe $30, $40 a night for like a nice room versus a death room that possibly may have a
I
meth
think you'd
lab
have a
as
hard
a
time
neighbor.
finding a $30 Holiday Inn room. Probably
What?
not 40.
No! Motel 6 is not $10 a night, Adam. I'm saying it's like $30, $40 more.
Oh,
You know
that's
what I mean?
a lot more for one night, man.
Well, when you're spending $100 versus $70, it's
Motel
not
6
that
is like
big
$40, man.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, they are. There's one in town. It's like $40.
I've turned around. That is a great deal. Motel 6s are great.
Yeah, there you go.
Cheap stay. This has been your Born in the 80s Traveler's Tips. Motel 6 for a cheap stay. But don't do anything illegal because they may tell the police.
Great.
Yep, that's it.
Thank you.
Back to Wuxia.
Yeah. No, I think I'm pretty much done with that.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to kill your Wuxia segment.
No, you killed it. It's dead.
Oh, come on. Do some
I
of
don't
your-
have anything else to say anyway.
do
I'm
some
just
of
gonna,
your... You know, I thought that's where we were going, so I automatically changed subjects. Because I brought up my own segue topic.
Great.
Just hijacking conversations. Let's give Adam a round of applause for bringing a topic for discussion, though.
Yeah, I brought a ton, man.
I know he did. This is unprecedented.
I wouldn't say
Usually
that.
we roll in and I'm like, hey, Adam, what do you got for tonight? He's like, I don't got anything. Oh, you didn't think of a single thing all week to talk about.
My witty repartee is all that is required.
I'm busting your chops here.
Yeah.
Some chop busting. Chop busters.
Sounds like the worst reality show ever.
It's the best. It would just be you and me going around and like observing people doing manual labor and just making comments.
Backseat
Like,
driving.
hey, you gotta do an Italian accent though. Hey, Italian American. I don't want to be a racist to Italians. But you know the Italian American accent, like, oh! You don't got your hand on the pole. It's gonna slip and fall. You hit your head.
What's this guy doing?
You maroon. Is that a thing?
That's a bit much.
Is that a bad word?
That's moron, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We just really accent. Maybe the last time I heard something like that, it was in
The Sopranos?
Nope. I was gonna say Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, the Mob Wives. Or the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
No, I don't watch Mob Wives of wherever.
Fair enough. Why not?
Not super interested in...
Reality television's really hot right now, Adam.
It's really hot garbage.
Those Mob Wives, they got so much going on. Who would have thought that you could make a reality show based on the premise of stay-at-home moms who really don't have a lot to do?
I don't know.
Because their, like, husbands are rich, so they have, like, nannies and cleaners.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. It's porn for, like, middle-class people.
Yeah.
They're just like, man, if only I, ran an industry that was skimming off the top of a garbage disposal contract, we could have all of the riches that are moderately wealthy could be, We've got a BMW, but not the best one.
Yeah.
That's like what Mob Wives is.
I see.
Who would want to watch that?
I don't know. I didn't even know that
you
show
could watch
existed.
Sopranos, and it's just better.
Yeah.
You got your mob wife there.
She's the worst character, though.
Edie Falco.
Yeah.
She's great.
Eh.
She's great.
All she
Kind
does
of.
is-
But she's always like the putting Tony down.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not supposed to like her. She's the heel. She's doing her
Sure.
job well because you dislike her.
Okay.
That's
Fair
the wrestling terminology for those of you who don't listen to the wrestling segment of the podcast, which comes at the end.
Yeah.
Dramatic pause.
Yeah.
Just waiting for Adam to reply there.
Why? What did you want me to say?
Wuxia! I like saying that.
I'm not prone to exaltations of wuxia, I guess.
Well, ejaculations of wuxia.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no,
That's
that
like-
I'm prone to. So.
That's my favorite term,
Yeah?
literary term to use. Like,
Yeah.
when you're writing your fan fiction and then you use way too many describing words for, like, talking. FYI, if you write dialogue, say said. Don't say, like, exclaimed and all that shit.
You need a little bit of that.
A little, but people overdo it because the text that they're reading should provide the context of the way it's being said.
Sure.
You don't say he yelled. Anyway, you say it as something that someone would yell, and they get the point across. Anyway, that's Writing 101, part of Byte, born in the 80s, 169, Writing 101 tip.
Mm-hmm.
No, but ejaculated.
Yeah.
You could say, Motel 6 is going to steal my information to the police. Lauren ejaculated. And that would be a correct English word to use.
Yes. As one sentence.
Correct. No, yes. Anyway, that's your writing minute. Moving on. Adam, anything else you watch?
Just the regular stuff.
I watched a film.
A what?
I watched a film.
Oh, a film. Yes, okay.
Yes, a film.
I see.
The movie industry. Hollywood, if you will. A mover.
Hollywood. Yeah.
A moving picture. A talkie.
A talkie. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're on the same page.
Yeah. Sorry, a talkie. Not a walkie-talkie.
No.
That's when you watch a movie on your phone.
That's when you watch a Steven Spielberg
I'm
film that used to have
sorry.
guns.
What?
That's when you watch a Steven Spielberg film that used to have
Yeah.
guns.
Or you watch a movie that has a lot of Aaron Sorkin dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
That's a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Jesus. I'm sorry. Okay. Walkie-talkie, episode title. Okay. I'm just writing notes down. I'm no longer typing because when I edit these, I hear myself typing notes.
Yeah.
And it's the loudest thing because I have a really loud mechanical keyboard.
Yeah.
It's very satisfying to type on this, but it is loud. Adam Ham,
Yes.
I watched a film,
Yes.
Interstellar.
Oh, I want to see that.
You haven't seen it?
No, because
How have you not seen it?
I've been watching Amazon, but they've had it only like to buy.
You're like a Chris Nolan advocate.
I am, but yeah, they've only had it like to buy. I don't need it.
How'd you not see that one in the theater?
I missed it. Apparently you did too, because we're talking about it now, not when it came out.
Adam, there's a cameo in that movie that is unlisted.
I know.
Oh, you've already had it spoiled?
Yes.
I had not had it spoiled.
I don't know who he plays.
And when it happened, well, I'll just say Matt Damon appears.
Yes, I've heard that Matt Damon appears.
Well, there's absolutely no way that you're going to watch this and not knowing that Matt Damon is in it, that it won't be spoiled for you. But he is... So, like, the plot is they send a bunch of astronauts out to find planets that are habitable.
Sure.
And they, like, message back that they're habitable.
Uh-huh.
And he's one of the astronauts that was on a planet.
Okay.
So, you know instantly, if you know he's in it, you'll know it's spoiled because they're out in space and you're like, I haven't seen Matt Damon yet, and they only see one other person.
I see.
or at least the only guy you see is Matt Damon. So
is this like Saving Private Ryan in space?
Yeah, they save him.
Okay.
His name is Ryan.
Okay.
No, it isn't. I don't even know what his fucking name is. He's not in a ton of the movie. Like, there's probably like a 30-minute action sequence with him in it, you know? Like, Anyway, I like that movie.
Okay.
I thought it was really good. You know?
Okay.
Have you heard about it?
I've tried to avoid most of the stuff.
But you haven't watched it.
I've not watched
So you're saving spoilers for yourself
Well, yeah.
without having any impetus to watch the film.
I want to watch the film.
Like, you could pay $5 right now and watch it.
Well, I didn't know it was available to rent yet.
It is available to rent.
Then I will probably watch it.
That is why I watched it.
Okay.
Well, I won't spoil anything, other
Okay.
than the fact that Matt Damon is a man in space. But
Okay.
But knowing that he's out, if you wouldn't have known that he was in it, I wouldn't have spoiled it for you. But
I talked about it on a Bombcast. Or
yeah,
something.
you know that he shows up. It's once they get out in space, you're like, I haven't seen Matt Damon yet. And they're like, we're gonna find people on these planets. You're like, oh yeah, it's probably him then. But yeah, it's really cool, interesting. I kind of like the future. It's like a new Dust Bowl.
Okay.
And they're like, we've just the planet. There's like blights, I guess, plant blights that are ruining all of the agricultural crops, basically.
Yeah.
Just killing them instantly when they're planted, basically. So
Okay.
they're down to corn, at the end, basically. And they're worried about a corn blight. So they're like, the population's like decimated from some event that happened, I guess. They're like,
Sure.
there's like at one point, I don't know, it's really cool, kind of apocalyptic future. There's a lot of cool dust storms. There's like kind of a neat, like they go to school and his daughter gets in trouble for talking about the moon landing, and they're like, the moon landing was made up, like,
What?
and that's what they teach kids.
What?
Well, they teach kids that so they don't like get hyped up about NASA, because their government's like, hey, we can't spend money on NASA. We need to spend money on like fixing our planet. So we don't
Okay.
want like kids to learn that NASA's cool.
Okay.
So we're like whitewashing all of the government textbooks.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, it's weird, but interesting. I don't know, kind of an interesting like tidbit. You're like, huh?
Not
So,
sure
like,
how
they
that
go-
follows, but okay.
Well, they go with the thought that it was a ploy by the government to get the Russians to spend a bunch of money trying to go to space.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's how their economy crumbled. And look at the U.S. Our economy's fine because we didn't waste money on trying to go to space.
Mm-hmm.
But then NASA's is real. You find out.
Right.
And then because he used to pilot for NASA.
I was going to say, from the trailer, I kind of got the feeling that he was like a former NASA
Yep.
pilot who was
Yep.
like too old for this shit, but they're calling him back for one last mission type deal.
Kind of, yeah. They don't call him back, but he like makes his way back there through events.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, hey, we actually have spent all of this secret money without telling anyone, using the cover of saying that NASA is dead and not being funded. And we have funded this arc, basically, that we're going to send up.
Okay.
But the whole idea is that, they got this arc they're going to send up.
They need
And
scouting.
so they send, an advanced scouting thing. There's
Sure.
a wormhole that appeared outside of Saturn.
All right.
And it gets a little weird. They're like, someone put it there because it wasn't there before, years
Okay.
ago.
Yeah, we're edging on.
That's not a spoiler. That's like the first explanatory, like he shows up at NASA and they explain the plot. I won't
Okay.
say what happens, but, he goes through the wormhole. And
Spoilers.
Oh, come on. No, there's a really awesome, I think you've seen probably pictures in the trailer, but there's basically they go to a system that, rather than like a sun
Yeah.
in the center, it's a black hole called,
yeah.
like Giganta or something.
There was a big thing about that because they scientifically modeled it, I think.
They
That's how
did. They actually used, well, they movied it up, basically. I saw it actually, an article about like what it actually looks like, they think, and then what the movie one looks like, and it's just a little bit prettier,
Yeah.
for the movie, but it's basically in shape and overall idea, it's pretty much the same. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to do with the movie with relativity, which is really interesting.
I like that kind of stuff, yeah.
Well, it gets into the point where like they're like, oh, this planet's closer to the black hole, so if we go there, time will move extremely fast for everyone else but us on the planet. So we spend 20 minutes on this planet, it's 7 years. It's like, fuck.
Sure,
so we got to be sure we want to move people to this planet before we spend time in there, because then all of the people on Earth are 7 years closer to the blight
Annihilation
that wipes out
whatever,
everything. So
Right.
yeah, it's actually really cool, like very hard science in a lot of aspects. But the ending, yeah, the hard science goes out the window.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Oh yeah, it gets real. Boy, how do I say this?
No spoilers.
Metaphysical.
Okay.
It gets weird.
All right.
But they have robots in it that are incredible. Tars and Kit, and they're like robots, and they're like really funny, and they like have dialogue, and I don't know. The robot design is really cool too, because they're like kind of like an easel, like walking and stuff. I don't know. They look really cool, and the movie looks amazing. It's gorgeous. And it's a good watch. I mean, if
It
you're
looked
into
good.
science
I wanted to see it for sure.
100%. I won't tell you what happens, but it's interesting.
Okay.
And then it gets crazy, and the movie is way too fucking long.
Yeah.
It is like 3 hours.
Oh wow.
It probably could have had a half-hour cutout at some point,
Yeah.
because it gets real weird at the end. And
Okay.
It's like, oh, this ending, it has the syndrome of the Hobbit, or not the
Is it
Hobbit,
a little 2001 Space Odyssey? Like...
Lord of the Rings-y. Well, it's like as if... Okay, I'll say this. If 2001, A Space Odyssey, after the weird space baby part, had another 30 minutes of movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's like, I thought that was the end.
Interesting.
Oh,
Okay.
there's more. Okay. And the more stuff is really interesting, but it's like, okay, that was weird. Not paced perfectly, I would say. But
Yeah.
interesting to say the least. And really cool.
Okay.
I liked it a lot.
Nice.
I would highly recommend it.
I will watch
I think on our star scale, it gets probably a 4.
Okay. It's totally worth
Because
watching.
it has some problems, including a lot of the reconnaissance growl talk dialogue.
I love that, though. That's fine.
I do too, but at some point you're just like, really? Like, this is a large part of the movie.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's funny you should mention films, because there's one I just actually saw I suppose I could mention too. I won't say too much, but I did see last night Avengers
I love
Age of
Last
Ultron.
Night. That's great. Oh, what?
Avengers Age of Ultron.
Avengers Age of James Spaderbot?
Yes.
How is Spaderbot?
Awesome.
You liked it?
I did.
5-star scale.
5.
Was it better or worse than the Avengers 1?
I think it's kind of hard to judge now, but like I felt the same way watching this as I did when I watched the first Avengers in the theater.
Avengers Age of Ultron Rotten Tomatoes score is lower than Furious 7's.
Okay.
By
I've
7
heard some
points.
some people don't like. I heard opinions are like either people really really like it or they really really don't like it.
I think that's not at all what I heard for opinions. I think that
really?
people either really, really like it, or people are like, this is exactly like the first movie, but with different characters.
I don't think that's exactly true. For one thing, there's like no origin story stuff. Like the team is together.
No, I got it, but it's just kind of like they're like, just to continue, it doesn't like change, like, I guess the plot basic dynamic of here's the Avengers, here's a world-ending thing, they have to fix it. It's nothing different, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
People said that, I guess maybe it relied a little too heavily on the previous film rather than going in a new direction.
This is definitely... But I think that's fine.
No, I agree. As a fan of the first one, I honestly would be fine with it. You know, I just think that you can't expect them to change the, fucking overall formula in the second film.
When I saw The Avengers, I don't think I'd ever felt that way about a summer blockbuster before.
Yeah.
Like, that was like a fucking revelation to me. And this, I think it's definitely, like you said, it definitely builds on the first one. It's, I think it's the next logical step. And they're kind of, you can see like they're setting some things up for some upcoming movies. Like, I think
the perfect way to describe this movie is it's not as good as the Avengers 1 only because the Avengers 1 was like pivotal in movies. It was just like you can't reach that pinnacle again because it's not, everyone's already expecting it. You know what I mean? It's still a good movie and awesome to watch, but yeah. So I'm going to see that this week. We can talk about it next week.
I don't know. Like, I know Joss Whedon is not doing the next couple of Avengers.
I think he's super happy to be done too.
Yeah, he is,
because he's like, I get to do like different things now.
Although I think he's still staying on as like the consultant for the Marvel MCU universe.
Totally fine, but he doesn't have to be the fucking head honcho in directing the biggest movie franchise in existence.
That is true, but
actually, Furious movies are bigger, but box office wise. But there's 7 of them. So.
Right. No, but I couldn't help but thinking after it was over, like, Joss Whedon, given the resources, can just make, at least what are to me, like, perfect fucking movies.
Firefly film coming up.
Like, yeah.
They already did that, though. Serenity
they did.
exists.
And I love that, too.
I like that movie. That was a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Having not even seen any of Firefly,
yeah,
I saw Serenity and I thought it was alright.
Yeah. It's even better if you've seen...
It's a good sci-fi action movie. I mean, that's awesome.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely... I loved it. It's so... I think it's pretty well paced, too. Mm-hmm. There's like a lot of good action set pieces, but you also get to see a lot of good moments where there's, it's downtime. Mm-hmm. And he's got... It's just very Joss Whedon, where you see these superpowered people hang out together, and you kind of get to feel like they're dynamic outside of battle, Like, there's been a lot... I think it was the teaser trailer where they're all just, like, sitting around on the couch and they're, like, trying to pick up Thor's hammer. There's a couple scenes like that are just really fun, good scenes. And there's a lot of humor in it, of course, that I think pretty much all of it hits. It's just a really great movie. I'm looking forward to talking with you about it next week. I hope you like it as much as I do, but... yeah, for me it's a 5. So
sounds good. I'll probably end up giving it the same one.
I should also say I saw it in IMAX 3D. So
yeah, I don't know when I'm going to see it in. If I'm going to see it in IMAX 3D or at the Ultra Screen.
Yeah,
kind of tired of 3D movies at this point.
I know what you mean. The 3D in this is really good, but I don't think it's necessary.
I've gotten to the point where it's not like I hate 3D.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's not necessary.
It's not. Until the next Avatar comes out.
Yeah.
That was... I don't know what the fuck they did for that, but that was amazing shit.
There's another Avatar?
There's going to be.
Really?
There's going to be like 2 or 3 more, yeah.
Avatar 2, Rise of the Cat People.
Something like that.
And that's just cats in 3D, the musical.
Oh, wow.
Cats.
No.
In 3D, but with, like, the blue cat people as all the characters?
No, that's terrible. I've never seen Cats musical. No.
Jake Sully in the moonlight. I've never seen Cats either, actually.
Oh.
I know it's based on a bunch of poems that I absolutely abhor, so...
Okay.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, I believe you.
What the fuck is Cats? I gotta look this up because it's bothering me.
Okay.
Oh, shit. I just went to the Cats the Musical website. It's going to crash the internet. I'm sure it's terribly full of bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted to see this when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because I was into
Cats?
into cats when I was looking, but it's basically Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats by T.S. Eliot.
Okay.
I don't know. It's whimsical, like a bunch of poems about cats, and they're kind of whimsical in a dumb way.
Okay.
I don't like them.
Fair enough.
It bothers me. Anyway, that's it, I guess. So that was Interstellar.
Yeah.
Talked about that.
And Avengers, yeah.
And Avengers. Talked about Wuxia.
Yep.
You want to talk about NASA? I see you got an article here.
I was going to say, it kind of falls from the...
Let's move to space here.
Interstellar.
I want you to explain. I haven't read this article because you put it in here today, I'm assuming.
I wasn't sure that we talked about this before, but...
I'm pretty sure we didn't.
NASA recently... So China
Yeah.
had this drive based on this stuff, and they said, hey, we've got this drive, and it seems to produce this certain amount of thrust for reasons we don't really know.
Okay.
Because this guy was saying that, yeah, this would be a great, for space stuff, because it's like an ion, it produces thrust like similar to like ion drives, but apparently with no actual propellant, no fuel. It needs energy, it needs electricity to run, but no, like, you don't have to carry up like tons and tons of fucking liquid or solid fuel.
Yeah, the limiting reactor in deep space travel is having to fucking haul all of the fuel to get you from Earth to wherever you're going.
Right. So, and like a lot of people were saying, yeah, okay, China, because not everything that comes out of China is really
not to belittle the Chinese academics.
Yeah,
but there's always been issues with Chinese.
The quality of their
science has been
experimentation.
Yes, they're much more newer at it. Basically,
Yeah.
Their infrastructure for scientific research and development is far newer, so there's more prone to be mistakes made. You know what I mean?
So NASA was like, okay, whatever.
Okay, China, sure.
Yeah,
right.
we'll take a look at this.
Let's just see what you came up with,
And they tested it, and then they put out something saying, actually, it kind of does seem to do this.
Oh shit, China is on to something.
It like bounces lasers inside this box, making microwave emissions and something, but
yeah,
not really sure. There's a little bit of thought that maybe it like pushed against some kind of quantum, plasma, like particles that are being created and destroyed instantaneously, pretty much. It pushes against that kind of field out in space, and maybe it does that. The thing is that they don't really know. They don't really have any idea why it actually works. And also, weirdly enough, the thing that was also kind of like, maybe this actually isn't real, is that NASA also did like a test rig where they rigged it so it shouldn't actually be producing any thrust.
Yeah.
And they still measured some thrust. So maybe it's not real at all. They're not sure. Basically, they put out a paper on it.
Yeah.
And they're saying, maybe help us figure out what's going on here.
Yeah. NASA needs some help.
Recently, so that was like maybe a year ago that they first said, hey, this actually seems to produce something. And they've been working on it a little bit since then. Recently, I think they tried it in a vacuum because they weren't sure if it actually would work in like space.
Yeah.
Saying, yeah, it does actually seem to produce thrust in a vacuum as well. So that's good.
Some dope-ass shit.
Then now, the most recent thing that they've said is, oh, by the way, we were like checking out some shit on the inside with those, beams going around, stuff like that. And we think we measured some of those lasers moving actually faster than the speed of light.
Oh my god. So you're saying the Romulans are going to appear now?
Not quite yet, but they're wondering maybe if the small amount of thrust that they're getting could be possibly created by a tiny little warp bubble that's maybe being created. And by warp bubble, same theory like this thing called the Alcubierre drive, which is like basically Star Trek warp drive would be.
So Gene Roddenberry was right.
Yeah, because you can't really break the speed of light in space, but space itself, as space is expanding and contracting, can go faster than the speed of light.
Correct.
theoretically.
I think the theory behind the
Yeah.
warp drives were they were pulling space.
Yeah,
and
you're
not the
expanding
ship.
space in front of you to make it like a kind of vacuum where it pulls you forward and contracting it behind you. And you're actually, the bubble is moving faster than the speed of light,
Yes,
but your
because
ship
it's
is
space moving, and your
Yeah.
ship is in that space.
Exactly. And that also takes care of the problem, luckily enough, of like G's and stuff. So you're not actually like accelerating and like getting all the G forces that's smushing you into nothingness.
Yeah, so like the idea of like Chewie and Han
Right.
going into hyperspace and being like pushed back against
Liquefied.
their seats,
Right.
isn't a real thing.
Or it might be a real thing, like you're traveling through this contracted space.
Like at 1G.
Yeah, and
force.
not-
Like
and
it's
not
like
crazy
an
speeds.
acceleration. Yeah, that's interesting.
So, once again, at this point, there's like no real confirmation, hasn't been really peer reviewed or anything like that yet, so it's still very, very, we're not sure. But just the very like premise that this could actually be happening is super cool to me. Like, if we've stumbled upon a way to create a tiny warp bubble, and this stuff can be, with more power, be expanded into bigger warp bubbles,
Yeah.
space flight would not just be like changed.
It's solved.
Yeah, pretty much, really.
No longer do we have to worry about the massive fuel. We just have
Yeah,
to
and it's
build
not
the
like-
infrastructure.
Yeah,
Up
we're
there.
Not, we're not talking instantaneous travel, but we're talking like maybe going to Mars in 7 days instead of 6 months.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good jump.
Yeah, and I think the future
Yeah,
of humankind is on another planet, as Stephen Hawking said.
yeah,
He said that the Earth will, or the human race will not last another 1,000 years on Earth alone.
right.
We need to expand.
So yeah, this is something we need to be doing. But if we're actually, even if this is not a warp bubble, but if it actually produces thrust, like even the small amount of thrust here, it can still be really big, like really big.
Yeah.
But if it's actually a fucking warp bubble, and it's like doable and stable, this could totally open up space way faster than we ever thought possible.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we wanted to put a Mars base on there, but the issue is having to travel through space for 6 months being bombarded with radiation.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, we just spend 7 days in space and are on the planet where we can be radiation shielded once we
Right.
land. Basically, it's like, oh, we've solved the issue of basically, like, because like one of the issues of being in space for a long time is that the radiation deteriorates your body
Yeah.
because there's no way to stop that radiation in space because there's no atmosphere stopping it. So the radiation is just shooting through the man sitting in the tin can up there, and you get it's just bad for your body over time. For long periods of time would hurt you. But for idea of someone traveling for 6 months in space, it could have health consequences,
Right.
which are bad.
Yeah, which is why they always rotate astronauts up in those stations.
Yeah, and then that's the same idea as flying in a high altitude plane.
Yeah.
You're getting part of a chest X-ray worth of radiation, which seems crazy.
Yeah.
But that is an interesting tidbit. I know that science fiction novels solve the space radiation by having water around ships in space. Basically, the idea is having. I think, I can't remember what science fiction novel series this was, but they use ice from like comets that's been collected that is on the outside of the ships, which the water stops the radiation or slows it so it doesn't penetrate the ship.
It, sure.
Yeah, exactly. So that is also something I've heard is a possibility. But the problem with water is it weighs so goddamn much.
Yeah.
That's the problem with anything that would shield radiation weighs so much. It doesn't really work in space.
And the other thing is, like, if this is a warp bubble thing, weight doesn't really mean as much as you would think,
Do you think you'd be able to warp from Earth up into space?
Possibly. I don't see
Why
why
not?
you couldn't. There's no reason why I don't think you could.
You notice someone, they do the first test, they warp up, and they see the Earth has moved slightly. Because part of it was encompassed in the warp bubble.
I mean, you gotta kind of wonder, like, if there is any kind of effect on space-time, like...
I know. This is kind of like the point
term.
where you get to, like, science, and they talk about, like, the Large Hadron Collider, people worrying it's going to, like, open up a worm, like a black hole or something, you know what I mean? Like, that's, far-fetched and dumb. Not that it's an impossible thing, because we're performing experiments that have never been done before, so anything honestly could happen, but, I mean, we're talking...
Probabilities are
probably not. Less than 0.0000001. But yeah, we're talking... Yeah, that's like the science that could end humanity if something goes wrong.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, you also think that, this has probably happened before in, like, the Big Bang and other, type scenario. Maybe it happens, maybe it's twisted around in black hole. I mean, we know it does warp space-time.
When you think about things this way as well, Adam,
yeah.
That an interesting thought is that... if these warp bubbles do exist and space travel could be that way, then it is not completely insane that extraterrestrial life could have made it to Earth at some point.
That is true.
If we can figure this out, somewhere else in the universe, someone's figured this out probably.
Yeah.
Because physics is physics, no matter where you are in the universe.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. I don't know. That's cool, though.
It is
cool. So then the Romulans will show up and be like, you've discovered warp technology. You
mean the Vulcans?
You're allowed... Is it the Vulcans? I thought it was Romulans for some reason.
Romulans are bad guys.
Oh, I know, but I thought they were like, I don't know.
If we're talking Star Trek 7,
First Contact. Wait, no, it can't. It can't be 7 because the odd ones are bad, and First Contact's one of the good ones.
Yeah,
that's Borg, right? There's Borg in First Contact.
There are Borg.
Okay,
but they contact the Vulcans. What's
Vulcan.
his name does the Cochrane.
So, like, Romulans are basically just, like, asshole Vulcans, right?
So, the boy, I can't believe I'm getting into this.
I don't know shit about Star Trek.
The Vulcans and the Romulans used to be one race.
I've seen the movies. Yeah?
The Vulcans and the Romulans used to be one race, but they kind of split apart. They have two different planets. They have, like, Romulus and Vulcan. And
Vulcan was destroyed.
The Vulcans, in
the Star Trek films.
Yeah, the new ones.
Yes.
The Vulcans...
Winona Ryder was present.
Did the thing where they started, like, repressing their emotions, and they started doing all this crazy enough logic stuff. And the Romulans were having none of that shit. They're like, no, emotions are fucking awesome.
So they're the good guys, right? Because emotions are good.
No, because, like, Vulcan emotions are really powerful and strong, and the Romulans let them, like, dictate,
So, like, the Sith.
They're very, like, they're smart, but they're sly and cunning, and they...
So you're saying the Romulans are Sith and the Vulcans are Jedi?
Yeah, pretty much.
Whereas the Sith, let emotions and anger control their force power and
exactly.
Whereas the Vulcans use their powers to be hyper good at reasoning and and being ambivalent.
Totally
cool.
So yeah, it was the Vulcans that had first contact with
Got it.
Earth.
That's the plot of First Contact, is that once a species or humanity or planet discovers warp drive, they're technologically advanced enough to join the Star Fleet, basically.
Federation, yeah.
The Federation. So,
although I'm not sure if the Federation existed at that point in time.
It didn't, because the Federation's on Earth.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In San Francisco.
I think once we joined it, we're like, hey, we should all, like,
It's San Fantastic.
We should start this thing. So.
Yeah, maybe the Federation was like, hey, Vulcans? Humans?
Yeah.
That's what Spock said. He was like, come on.
I was before Spock.
I know, it was pre-Spock. Well, we don't know that. How old's Spock?
Spock's really old, but he's also, like, into the next generation stuff, so he's got to be fairly young for the...
True.
Original thing. So,
yeah. All right. Cool. That's cool.
That's your Star Trek lore for the week.
Star Trek lore. That's Star Trek lore.
Yes.
Born in the 80s, 169.
Not to be confused with Lore, who was Data's evil twin robot.
Okay. I'm cutting you off.
All right.
Adam, I want to talk about science. We're on topic science.
Yeah, let's talk about
science. I teased
science.
this last week.
Okay.
So there's a Reddit thread about worst lab failures you've seen. Failures in the lab. Worst. So I got a whole bunch I found.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. I'm just going to read through them because they're interesting.
Yeah, do it.
All right, so I cherry-picked a few. Actually, found a few, but then there was one particular person who had like 10 stories about this one guy. in their lab that's just really a walking Mr. Magoo of science. Okay, so this is an interesting one. Postdoc ordered a pizza, in the lab, still late night.
Sure.
Ate part, put the rest in a negative 80 C freezer.
Okay.
Keep it nice and cold. Deep freeze that sumbitch. We got a bunch of those at work. Negative 80 C freezers. They're fun.
I'm sure.
It's very, very cold.
Yeah.
What is negative 80 in Celsius?
Oh boy.
100 degrees below zero, like over 100 degrees below zero.
So it's about half plus. I don't think it's that bad.
Oh yeah, because 0 is 32 degrees.
Yeah, it's more like. Oh geez, is it 9/5 or?
I'm just gonna say this.
Yeah.
As a scientist, I want to say this. Celsius is fucking terrible for temperature at human degrees.
Yes, it is. It is for human degrees.
It is
terrible.
terrible. And any fucking country that's like, we use Celsius for our like fucking weather reports is fucking dumb. Because Fahrenheit was invented by a guy basing it on the range of human temperature, like ranges that are experienced.
Yeah.
Like, hey. And so it's very excellent in granularity for, a regular human outdoor like temperature. Mm-hmm. So you can tell, a 78 degree day is hot, whereas like a 72 degree day is like, very nice. Whereas in Celsius, that's like 22 degrees versus 23. Like, okay, one of those is bad and one of them's okay. And there's no degrees of there. So anyway, the weather report should always be in Fahrenheit. I hate it when people, anyway. But we use Celsius at work because we have to, because science. You know how it is. Anyway, put it in the 80 degree negative freezer, which is used, by the way, for proteins and organic stuff. Because it basically is like cryo-freezing things.
Okay.
Yeah. So any organic protein-based drug or anything, it needs to go cold. Critical cold. Anyway, he puts the pizza in the microwave to defrost for a couple minutes. Mm-hmm. Cheese looks melted. Takes a bite. Center is still frozen solid.
Ooh.
And he gets ice burns on his tongue, mouth, and lips from the negative 80 degree pizza center.
Ouch.
It's basically the opposite of a Hot Pocket.
Yeah.
Where the center is so cold it burns you, versus the outside seeming nice, but the center being liquid magma.
After doing a little bit of thought on that, I think it's like a negative 128 Fahrenheit.
Very cold.
Yeah.
Past 100 degrees below zero.
Yeah.
Fahrenheit, so very, very cold. Okay, I've got another one. This is an interesting one. This is science. Really dumb postdoc in my previous lab placed an unrinsed bottle in the bleach bath to be picked up by glassware folks. She didn't sink it, just left it floating on the top of the bleach bath. So when the glassware guy got there, he sank it to clean it. Too bad the bottle had a bit of hydrochloric acid in it. Adam, what happens when you put hydrochloric acid in bleach?
It kind of explodes, doesn't it?
Nope.
No?
Chlorine gas.
Chlorine gas. Oh, right. That's like doing the ammonia and bleach thing.
Correct, because the hydrogen goes away from the chlorine, and the chlorine's hey, let's go up in the air. When you sank it. So the staff found him passed out next to the sink.
Oh, passed out? Oh.
Yeah, didn't die. Chlorine gas isn't really that deadly.
No, but it's burny.
It's burny, yeah. It's basically like breathing in hydrochloric acid vapor because the water in your lungs bonds with the chlorine to make hydrochloric acid in your lungs. So a little bit of exposure is going to burn, but it's like, it's like smoking like 20, 30 packs in like a second.
Yeah.
It's bad for your lungs. But yeah, chlorine gas is interesting because it's also way heavier than air, so it doesn't tend to dissipate widely. Yeah. It's usually sticks to the ground, and which is why it was used in battlefields, and you would put the chlorine gas and it would swoof off in the trenches and it would stick into the trenches because it's heavier. But also it was terrible because if the wind changed direction, the chlorine gas comes straight back at you because it doesn't really mix with the air. Because it's mostly nitrogen in the air, which is not going to react with the
70-some
chlorine.
percent, I think.
Yeah, a large percentage. Alright, so yeah, not a good one. But let's get on to Gaston, as this Reddit user called him. So I was working in the food science microbiology lab for my master's, and we had this undergrad working with this, let's call him Gaston. Because like the Disney character, no one could do the stupid things as good as he could.
Oh,
Like,
I thought because he ate
no
5 dozen eggs.
No, but like no one's quite like Gaston.
Yeah.
No one's quite as dumb as this Gaston. All right, so his lab worked with Vibrio, which is like cholera,
Sure.
different other infectious diseases. You can be very sick from them. Gaston did some interesting things. So this is an interesting thing that happens all the fucking time in micro labs. So we had glass spreaders and cups of ethanol to spread bacteria on plates. Mm-hmm. So the way that you do microbiology is you have glass spreader, which is basically just a glass wand that you dab the bacteria on and use it to spread it across a plate of growth media so the bacteria colonies grow. So you're supposed to take the spreader out, run it through a Bunsen burner to burn off all of the ethanol. Mm-hmm. So it's sterilized, and you let it cool so it's sterilized. Or if you're dumb, you put the hot thing right on the agar, and it just ruins your entire colony. So you let it cool. So he went through the Gaston went through the motions, but as soon as he passed the spreader through the flame, he realized he forgot something, and put the glass rod back into the ethanol.
Ooh.
Immediately setting the beaker on fire.
Yeah.
So now and ethanol is just basically corn alcohol, so like think Everclear, basically,
right.
but even more concentrated.
Yeah.
Beyond a proof that you would want to drink. What would a normal lab person do, Adam, if you had a flaming beaker of alcohol?
Probably go to a safety thing and pour it out.
Probably not. It's on fire.
It's on fire.
Cover it.
Cover it. Sure.
Yes.
Oxygen.
Yes, exactly. Cover it up so the flame will die out from no oxygen. Not Gaston. He grabbed the beaker barehanded and ran to the sink to throw the whole beaker in.
Ooh.
Well, this broke the beaker.
Oh, Molotov.
Sort of a Molotov cocktail effect.
Yeah.
So now the flame had the full 500 mils alcohol to react with, not just the surface.
Okay.
Which caused a fireball that was just shy of hitting the ceiling, burning everything in and around the sink.
Damn.
Also, all this happened while no one else was around. The kicker was the rest of the lab got back from lunch. He pretended like nothing happened. Not like we wouldn't notice the scorch marks around an entire part of the lab. Yes. All right. Moving on. Professor down the hall retired while I was there, and he left behind a lab that had not been cleaned for decades. Bad lab practice. Needless to say, our group descended on the room like a group of Jawas finding a trove of droids. This is totally what happens when people move. You're like, okay, what science goodies do they have left behind? The worst part was dealing with all the old hazardous chemicals no one wanted to touch.
Ooh.
You know, the good old unlabeled beakers sitting up in the, where the labels had fallen off, or,
That's
just
terrible.
Gaston, however, thought this was neato. Those were his exact words. First, we were moving equipment and glassware we could use. Gaston walks in the lab carrying a large, old, rusted can. Not knowing what the hell it is, we asked him. His reply is, "Oh, hey, this can's super rusted. Think we should just toss it?" The can in his hand was ricin. Oh, motherfucking ricin. A can, like an amount to commit a war crime's worth of ricin. And he just wanted to throw it in the regular garbage.
Oh.
Hazardous waste there.
Yeah.
All right, a week later, while salvaging the same lab, we found a drawer of thermometers. Oh, cool, we can always use more of those. It was a simple task, and considering none of the grad students wanted Gaston making our media or doing anything else he could have ruined, we decided we could have him transport the thermometers to our lab. Should be simple, right? We assumed he would have taken the drawer out and carried the drawer to our lab to make the process super simple, but which is how he saw us doing everything else that week. But no, he decided to transport them 2 thermometers at a time. Basically, at the opposite of Jason Statham. I don't know what he's referring to here.
Transporter?
Yeah, okay, there you go. Not transporting well.
Yeah.
Where Jason Statham is an excellent transporter.
Exactly.
At this point, we learned to roll with it and laugh about it later. Billy Mays here, but wait, there's more thermometers. When he's all done with that task, he casually mentions how a few thermometers at the top were broken.
Oh.
There's this weird silver stuff all over the place.
Mercury!
That was fun to push around.
Ah!
And move like a ball bearing, according to him. Being this lab was as ancient as Dumbledore's balls, it should be no surprise that there were mercury thermometers. Yeah, you don't see those a lot nowadays.
Yeah.
But this little fact seemed to slip past his tiny brain. And he again went back on his merry way. We go and look in the drawer, and sure enough, there's mercury in there, so we cleaned up. Mercury is not so bad on your hands.
No.
Doesn't really penetrate skin very well.
No, but if it does, it can be deadly.
It can be, but probably not in the amounts that you're going to get on your hands. Probably not a good idea to bare-hand it, but it's not going to probably kill you.
I was quarantined once because of thermometer breakage.
Yeah, unless you have an open sore, or you touch your hand to your eye or your face.
Yeah.
You know, anyway, don't do it. My cats are losing their minds.
Oh, okay.
Their food dish is empty, and they're now banging everything around in the kitchen. They're trying to get my attention, but we're going to ignore them. We're going to continue on. This one isn't really dangerous. I just have to drive the point home about this kid. We used some specialized media that couldn't be autoclaved in preparation due to some of the components of it. So instead, we had to heat it on a hot plate to the right temperature until it all goes into solution, and then let it cool a bit before pouring. Normally, I made it 1 liter at a time in a 2-liter flask. This is because if you are boiling liquids that have something in them to gel, they need some airspace because they're going to bubble a lot. Well, Gaston needed to make a lot of media one day. I still don't know how the postdoc trusted him with this expensive media, so he decided to take a 6-liter Erlenmeyer flask and fill it with over 5 liters of solution to get to a boil. Sets it on high with a stir bar inside, and for whatever reason decided to leave. Always a good idea as a scientist to put something on a hot plate and leave.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's going to take a while for that to boil. But he walked to the student center for lunch. Again, none of us were there because we all had a class. We come back to the lab to find a volcano of boiling molten media shooting everywhere on the top of the flask.
Ugh.
With no Gaston to be found. The shitty part, no one can even get close enough to this disaster to turn the hot plate off without risking serious burns. So we had to sit there and wait for it to all boil off while the media was burning onto the plate. So you now have this horrible organic burned smell, like burning hair or flesh to breathe in, and the ruined media that we now had to remake. Gaston comes back and then apologizes and goes on his merry way. This is basically your Mr. Magoo of science. Oh, boy.
Wow.
At one point, the lab started doing work looking at bacteria levels and to the speciation of what we found in various bodies of water around Florida, where the lab is. Not only water, but also mud, sediment samples. So after running experiments to isolate the bacteria, we were left with just gallons upon gallons of this mucky Floridian mud. At this point, just forget about the water. So like everything else in the lab, all waste need to be autoclaved prior to removal from the building. Well, needless to say, if you autoclave mud from the boonies of Florida that's been sitting in the lab for days, it's going to smell. So let me clarify. It doesn't just smell. It rapes your nose. It burns your eyes, and the smell literally sticks to your skin, hair, and clothes, like you took old Indian food mixed with old Mexican food and fed it to a baby. And you collected that baby's shit for days, and you let it sit in the sun while occasionally vomiting on it to add consistency. That is just a fraction of what this smelled like.
Okay.
I kid you not. Yes?
John, as science man, do you know what autoclave is? Because I'm not familiar with that.
An autoclave? Well, that's a microbio thing. We don't. I'm a chemistry science.
Oh, okay.
But I have an idea, but I just want to make sure. It's something used to sterilize equipment, basically.
Oh, okay. So it's just like hot washing it off.
It's basically like a super oven.
Oh, okay.
That you put. It's high pressurized, saturated steam.
Okay.
I think I've autoclaved stuff before, but that was back in college, which is at this point like a decade ago.
Yeah.
Which is sad to think about.
Okay. So yeah, it's just like a hot wash.
Yep, basically it's just used in science. It just blasts steam to kill all organics.
All right.
But the problem is that autoclaves are stinky as fuck.
Okay.
Because it's just hot, steamy
garbage water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can imagine having to autoclave a bunch of glassware that's been holding gross mud would smell god-awful. But, you know, it's what you got to do. It's procedures. Got to clean it off, sterilize it. All right, that's a fraction of this. So I kid like, blah, 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 blah. The rule is only do it at the end of the day, on Fridays, preferably. So they were just doing this in batches. Basically, like, all right, we'll just take the next batch of the autoclave Friday, so by Monday the air is, cleaned out and it doesn't smell like... Gosh. Well, guess what? Gaston is on trash duty, and he is dumb enough to think that this was a good idea to just autoclave it in the middle of the day. I should mention it was a 2-story lab building with 4 labs, and the autoclaves are upstairs. Downstairs is a large lab with a nice conference room. Gaston decided he'd be proactive and run a trash cycle in the middle of the day to get ahead of schedule. Hooray! I'll get out early. So he loads the autoclave up and goes on his merry way. He leaves a note for someone else to pull it out. Well, as students, when someone messes up like this, you're just going to bear it. You try to breathe through your mouth because kind of tasting it is at least better than occasionally vomiting a bit in the back of your throat, since the smell is so horrid. Microbiology smells really bad. That's something you learn in science.
Yeah.
Because it's all just gross agar that smells like organic. It's food, basically, for bacteria, which smells garbagey. And bacteria smell garbagey because, your poop smell?
Yeah.
It's bacteria cause that smell.
Right.
So, let's see here. In the conference room downstairs, the heads of the department are holding a meeting to welcome a professor who is interviewing for position as chairman of the department. It wasn't just some random person. This was like the lead candidate, the one everyone wanted to hire. This position was advertised 3 times, and they still hadn't filled the role. We needed this person. Long story short, they had to move the meeting after the interview. We ran to the bathroom and vomited because she was pregnant, and the smell was that bad.
Oh.
Not sure if she took the job, but I'm pretty sure she didn't.
Man.
Gaston's just fucking everything up.
Yeah.
Adam? Yeah, got a couple more. 2 more.
Okay.
It's not a 2 more. At one point, our professor had a small second lab across the street, which is perfect for large-scale oyster studies, because it could spread out and it didn't matter if salt got everywhere. Eventually, when I was there, the lab was given to another department, and we had to vacate. Gaston helped. All we had to do was load carts of lab shit and haul it across the street. It's all done, it went smooth. Gaston did okay. Well, this was Friday, and Gaston goes his merry way. Come Monday, Gaston shows up with a huge smile on his face. Wow, this person gets way too into details of the story about this. He talks about him like, maybe he finally nailed Bell. Blah, blah. And it's like, okay, come on. Tell me your science story. But no, instead he pulls a bottle of arsenic out of his pocket and says, I shit you not, look what I accidentally brought home Friday.
Oh my god.
It looked real cool, and I wanted to show you guys this bottle, so I put it in my pocket. He put arsenic in his fucking pocket and then rode the bus home. So basically he had 25 milliliters of arsenic for the entire weekend in his apartment. But still, we took the bottle and did not speak of it again. Man. Okay, so you know why they have oyster experiments, Adam?
No.
With oysters? These are like the oyster, the animal.
Yeah.
Vibrio. That's a food toxin that is in oysters. Bad seafood gives you Vibrio.
Food poisoning. Okay.
Food poisoning, yes.
Sure.
That's what a lot of microlabs work on, is food poisoning. But interestingly enough, maybe I got Vibrio when I had that terrible illness.
Yeah.
I am only now 100% recovered.
Wow.
I still had pain in my abdomen. And it was coming and going for a while still. Up until about a month ago.
Damn.
Minor. Nowhere near the level. Just more of like a little crampy tightness. But yeah, it's all gone now. I feel way better. I feel 100% better. I don't know what it did. That wrecked my intestines.
Yeah.
But I'm getting back to normal now. Anyway, speaking of those oyster experiments, one of the experiments we did was kind of like, I have no clue what that is, competition assays. I can only assume that is them competing to see who could get the most bacteria out of a oyster or something. Mm-hmm. Like, knock a gene out of Vibrios and see how it does compared to the wild type. Okay, so we're genetically modifying this Vibrio and see who can grow the most. Who makes the best Vibrio,
Sure.
basically. So what they would do would put oysters in tanks and add some antibiotics to the water to clear the natural flora, their natural bacteria. Can't remember which is now. Probably tetracycline, which is used a lot for antibiotics. And then inoculate the water with our own bacteria to see how they survive in relation to each other. Well, needless to say, we made them have antibiotic resistance so we could select them on media. Experiment day comes along. We put Gaston on shucking duty. At least at one point, while no one is watching, he decided to take the metal glove off. If you don't know, when shucking oysters is a great way to stay safe is to wear... You literally have... You ever shucked oysters, Adam? Probably
No.
not. You ever heard of it? No. But when you shuck oysters, you have a chainmail glove, usually, because you have a crazy, super, like, blunt-edged knife that you have to, like, crack open an oyster. And oysters are basically like rocks.
Yeah.
Because they take... like the dissolved calcium and everything in the water and make super hard rock shells. So he's like, oh, this chain gauntlet sucks to wear. I'm going to take it off. And use the blunt knife-like object to crack him open. He fucking stabbed himself in the hand trying to open one, not wearing the protective glove. Not all the way through or anything. But he still punctured himself with a blunt knife, of course. Infected with antibiotic-resistant Vibrio, which you can kill, by the way. It's just resistant to whatever particular antibiotic they were using, because this experiment was obviously use an antibiotic to clear all of the bacteria out of it, and then inoculate your own Vibrio version on the oyster, you know. But the tetracycline's still around, so it needs to be resistant to it. So this was tetracycline-resistant Vibrio that he's now infected himself with. Well, he thought to himself, ouchies, maybe I should put that glove back on. No washing hands, no ointment, no telling anyone, no hospital, just went along his merry way. Come Monday, he tells us, and that was the day we figured he wasn't immunocompromised or had any issues, because if he did, he'd probably be dead. You know, because the Vibrio would take him over, because like every food poisoning, it is opportunistic bacteria. So usually your internals can fight it off, but if you have AIDS or some other immunosuppression, you get real sick. Anyway, that's it. That's the tales of lab failures.
Yeah, those are some tales, all right.
That's some real bad shit. We don't have a lot of failures in our lab.
Yeah, that's good.
A lot of real safe stuff, if you will. We usually do. But, you know, we still work with some pretty hardcore shit. Perchloric acid's the worst shit I work with. That's bad stuff. Can blow up. You see crystals in the bottle, call the bomb squad. Literally, that's what has to happen.
Wow.
Because it could blow up. Because it basically makes perchlorate, which is an explosive, which I think is in, like, fertilizer bombs, you know? Like the ones that blew up Timothy McVeigh style.
Oh, okay.
That was, I believe, perchlorate that was used. Yeah, so bad shit. Steer clear of that. And it's also one of the acids that's you can't pour in the acid waste.
Yeah.
Because it's so deadly. Because it will react with hydrochloric acid or any of the other acids in there. So to dispose of it, you have to basically... This is how you dispose of it. You have to basically neutralize it, or what we do is dilute it down. So, you know, you pour out 5 mils, take 1 mil to put into something, then pour that into like 2 liters of water. So it's basically completely at like below surface level acid, completely diluted. Because, yeah. So, some fun shit. Can't even throw it in the normal waste bin. Yep. Always worried about that shit, because if you spill it, it's bad.
Yeah, I bet.
Because perchloric acid, if it interacts with anything organic, it's super corrosive and can explode, particularly with paper. It's real bad shit, because the paper, I believe, wicks away the moisture and just leaves the perchlorate. Basically takes the water out of it, because perchloric acid is, with every acid... This is science. This is like hyper science talk right now, chemistry. But like every acid is a mixture of water and acid, you know, in different concentrations. So perchloric acid, like the highest grade that you get in lab is like 75 to 80%.
Yeah.
Acid. The rest is water. So that's like the highest you're going to ever want, and you shouldn't even try and use that unless you have to, because you take the water out, it blows up. And so that's the issue you have with it, and that's how it can crystallize, is cap's not closed or something, and the water evaporates out over time, and you're just left with explodey goodness. That gets put in a special cabinet.
Yeah, I bet.
It sits in its own special, like, blast cabinet. And you gotta check the bottles whenever you take them out. Anyway. That is it, my friend.
Cool.
For science. Lab failures. Do we have anything else you want to talk about? Before we move on?
We could, but maybe we should just,
You want to save it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You okay with saving it?
Okay with saving it.
I'm going to go on one final rant, and then we'll go to wrestling.
Okay.
I just say this because we talked about GMOs last week.
Yes.
Chipotle recently announced that they were going to have GMO-free. No GMOs in our food.
Of course they did.
Except for the corn that's genetically modified.
Yeah.
And all that shit, that's just not genetically modified, in quotes.
Right.
Via, newer scientific techniques. Interesting thing. Adam, you get your burrito, you get your chips and guac. What do you get? What else do you get with your meal?
Soda usually.
What's in soda?
Food coloring for one.
Okay, yep, that's fine.
Soda
Food
water.
coloring. Okay, soda water. Yep, that you're not getting to the main ingredient.
Syrup.
Here. Where does that syrup come from usually in soda?
High fructose corn syrup.
Corn syrup, Adam. You want to know where corn syrup comes from?
Genetically modified corn?
Correct! Fucking A! It's retarded. Not to
Yeah.
use that term, sorry, but it's dumb.
Yes.
It is like, hey, guess what? We have no GMOs, but, get your Coke and drink a bunch of GMO corn, because corn syrup is obviously not something that people that care about GMOs even think of ever touching,
Yeah.
so they don't give a shit, and it's all from Roundup Ready corn. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no organic corn syrup being used in Coke. Anyway, it's dumb. Anyway, I just wanted to point that hypocrisy out and how
Yeah.
dumb it is. And I now like Chipotle slightly less, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of dumb because we talked about it. Pseudoscience is pseudoscience, no matter who's saying it.
Yeah. Definitely.
You could decry climate change as not being caused by man, and that's bad. Or you can say GMOs are the great Satan that'll ruin your body, which is also bad and wrong. Mm-hmm. Bad science is bad science, no matter what side it's coming from.
Indeed.
All right, moving on. I guess next week you want to tease? I think there's something you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, there might be some news on the anime front.
Okay, we got some anime news.
Yep. And
We
I
got
do
some
want to talk about Pillars of Eternity,
Pillars
That's
of
some-
Eternity.
but I don't think there's anything
Another-
right now.
Another game
Yep.
that Adam has played. Mm-hmm. You played a game. It's crazy.
I know, right?
Do you know what I've played?
What?
You know what game I've played?
What?
Fuck tons of Grand Theft Auto Online.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
You ever
it's
play
fun.
that?
Yeah.
It's really awesome. And it's gotten better, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
More and more missions exist because Grand Theft Auto Online you can generate missions and share them for people to try. So there's lots of really fun shit to do. And it's...
Cool.
I love open world games.
They are fun.
Yep. All right, well, that is it for the regular portion of the podcast. If you want to like, comment, subscribe, you can do so. Adam, what's the website?
Website is bornintheeighties.net.
All right. What is the... how can someone contact us?
You can go to the website and we have a contact us. We have a form there, or you can email us at, is it 80spodcast@gmail.com?
Bytecast.
Bytecast.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Yes. Bite as in like, I'm going to bite you.
Indeed.
B-I-T-E. Born in the 80s.
Right.
So that's that. Or you can always leave comments on the website for each episode.
Absolutely.
I put up a blog post for each episode with links, stuff we talked about in the podcast, so you can see what we're shitting about.
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Know what I'm
Totally.
saying?
Yep.
No? Okay.
No. Know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying. Okay, stop. We have to stop. Watch Trailer Park Boys. New season was pretty good.
It was, yeah.
All right. That is all. We will catch you next week. Same place. Subscribe on iTunes. Leave us a rating. It really helps.
It does.
We like it. We like you. We want you to like us. I want you to want me.
Yep.
Kabam, kaboom. Give us some room. Wrestling is next. Stay tuned. Wrestling. That's the theme.
Yeah.
All right, we're back here to talk about wrestling. Adam, what happened during the week? What happened on Sunday?
Sunday there was Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
Did you watch it?
I did.
Excellent. You gotta, we have this wrestling segment, Adam. I know you don't have to watch Raw. I'm not going to require that of you.
Good, because I did not.
I'm going to require it of you to maybe keep abreast of the goings-on.
I have not even done that on Raw.
Neither have I. I actually can't tell you what happened on Raw this week, now that I'm thinking about it. Stuff. Continuations of storylines. Actually, what mostly is happening is gearing up for the next pay-per-view, which is only 3 weeks away, because this is the short cycle.
Yeah.
Because WrestleMania gets like 6 weeks, or 5 weeks, or whatever, and they usually have 4 weeks, so they got to make up with this pay-per-view, give it 3 weeks. And Payback is usually all fucking rematches, from where the card seems to be shaking out, so
Yeah.
we'll see. All right, Adam. What happened? Let's go through the matches here. Pre-show, Bad News Barrett versus not Daniel Bryan, but as I ding 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 ring the bell, correctly predicted, Adrian Neville got to wrestle. So
Yeah.
I think they handled this as well as they could have. And they moved the tag team title match from the pre-show to the main show, which is good. Because it's like, if we're not going to have a title match for the Intercontinental, let's move that to the pre-show so that we can give the title match the actual show time, which it deserved because it was an excellent match. But I think they handled this really well. Daniel Bryan was injured and unable to perform. And it seems like he's not going to be at Payback either, actually.
Yeah.
The real
I heard
mum.
he stopped doing even
Everything.
everything, yeah.
Yes, he's on injury getting healthy. Mm-hmm. They know not to do anything. Just it's Daniel Bryan. He'll get healthy and come back.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I mean, who fucking knows at this point?
Right.
It's probably the same thing.
Probably.
Who knows? Anyway, so I think they handled it really well. Had Neville and Bad News Barrett fight. They had a really good match, I think.
Okay.
Great opening match. They had Barrett put Neville over very strongly. Like, Neville looked great in the match. Mm-hmm. Dodged the finisher, dodged the bullhammer. Mm-hmm. And was able to hit the red arrow. And the crowd was hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, Neville, I love it. They're doing the NXT style where they're just letting his in-ring ability sell him. He doesn't talk. I don't think he's had a single promo segment that's been
no, he definitely
extensive. Maybe there's been stuff on the app or anything, but he hasn't really gotten a lot of Raw screen time. He's just kind of, we're not going to have him talk. We're just going to have him be a great wrestler and fight your typical classic heel like Bad News Barrett, have a good match and win. And it was great. And the crowd was popped for it. And it was good. We started off the show proper with one of your favorites.
Yep.
One of your highest ranked men.
Yeah.
D'Ambrose versus Luke Harper in a Chicago street fight.
Yeah. I am of two opinions with this.
They can only end via pinfall inside the ring.
Yeah.
Because that's a street fight. Well, whatever. It seemed to just be a fight that was a no DQ match.
Right.
I liked it. They switched it up a little bit.
Yeah. It was okay.
Yeah, I liked the gimmick of them basically wrestling into a car and then driving off.
Yeah.
And being like, they're somewhere out in the streets of Chicago fighting. I was really disappointed they didn't have a camera follow them.
Yes, that was the biggest thing. Is
I was assuming we would have a back alley somewhere behind the arena that kind of looked like a back alley, and them fighting and like a cameraman getting hit or something and like losing the signal, and then them coming back. But basically they had them come back later in the show, like a long time later. So this is technically one of the longest matches in WWE history. Because they came back about another hour or two into the show to finish the match in the ring. And I don't know, it was good. They put on a good match. Ambrose got his victory.
Yep.
And that was good. Good for him.
Totally. I agree. I thought it was a good match. I did think that...
I like the chairs. Them both just throwing multitudes of chairs into the ring.
That was kind of ridiculous.
It was kind of fun. I like that.
I know it shouldn't bother me, but it felt too staged, the whole getting in the car and leaving. Like, it's not... I like that idea.
I really like that Ambrose dove through the open window of the car.
Yeah.
Well, it was just before it drove off, basically. It's like legs sticking out.
The fact that it left, they started other matches, they did all these other matches, and then it comes back like right in between two matches.
Yeah,
like,
perfectly timed.
Perfectly timed.
I think it would have been really cool for it to roll in.
Yes.
Kind of like, maybe not in the middle of a match, but like as the match was like ending.
Or starting or whatever.
Or starting and like interrupting the start of a match, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's an easy booking thing.
It's like a real, kind of, I mean... They're trying to keep kayfabe. I mean, that's still the thing, right?
Hey, you know what? It just randomly happened to be in between two matches.
Yeah, that's... I don't know. It's just stretching...
Stretching your limits of believability?
Yeah, I mean...
You kind of have to throw it out a little bit in wrestling, but
it's
also...
It's one of those things, like, you want that suspension of belief, but you don't want to, like, just strangle it.
There's a base level of suspension of disbelief that you can do, but this stretched that a bit.
It did.
I think, anyway, the right guy won, though.
Yeah,
Ambrose needed his pay-per-view singles win.
Totally.
And he got it, and it was good. Against a good opponent, hard-fought fight.
Yep.
A lot of cool spots with chairs.
Yep.
I think he took a real bad, like, DDT into a chair that, like, broke. Like, I don't know, it looked good. There was some good stuff.
It did. I think he did, like, off the... Yeah, that... I don't know what it was exactly, but... There was one of them that looked pretty bad when he landed on the chair, like, on his back and broke it over. Yeah. It was cool, though. It was a cool match.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. One of your favorite boys.
Yeah.
Ziggler.
Zigga
versus Sheamus in a Kiss Me Arse match.
This,
which was a dumb stipulation.
Yeah, it was a dumb stipulation.
But it was perfect the way that it ended. Because the heel, of course, boasted, I'm going to win the match. I'm going to get him to kiss my ass. No question about it. And then, of course, he loses the match. I think it was a quick roll-up that he wasn't expecting. Just like oh, shit, I actually lost. Fuck. And great match. I mean, Sheamus is really physical.
Yep.
Ziggler's really good at just making moves look really painful. He's really good at selling offense, which makes him which is why heel Ziggler doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because he's way too good at being a babyface in peril.
Yeah.
Just selling hits and looking hurt, and being that kind of underdog, and it worked out. Match was good, and then of course they absolutely did the right thing, having Sheamus back out of the deal.
Totally,
and then just beat up Dolph, being like the fucking asshole heel, like fuck that, I'm not going to do what I said.
Right.
But I agree with the Cage Side Seats approval here, or their appraisal of it. Saying he spent a lot of time whining and begging about not having to do it before he beat up Ziggler.
That's gonna be my comment. Is that there was like 3 times where he was like,
oh yeah, he's like I'm gonna get close. Yeah. He's like no, I'm not gonna do it. If you were just gonna beat the guy up, just do it.
Yeah,
you don't have to like fucking feign like you're gonna do it like 8 times.
And the other thing is, I mean, I know he's a heel and stuff, but I think it weakens like something overall as making him like a tough guy if he's that like freaked out about. Like, I don't know. It just seemed really weird. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe, I guess, but it's like, it just made him feel weaker that I don't know, he's a heel, so it's fine.
Yep. All right.
I mean,
Yeah, it was good. Fine. Just a regular good match.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. A good match in what was overall a very good show.
I thought so too.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah.
Speaking of good matches, Brass Ring Club versus New Day. Who would have
Yes.
thought Cesaro and Tyson Kidd would put on a really good match?
Oh my god, that was amazing. That was a really good match.
I like New Day doing the claps and just being terribly sad that the crowd hates them.
New Day sucks.
It's perfect, They do the clap and everyone always gets the same reaction. And they're always pissed off about it, and it looks cool, and I like it, and I like what they're doing with them. Kind of a little heely, which is weird because the Brass Ring Club was very heelish when they started, but
Right.
they're kind of not. They're tweening right now. They do heel things, but they're not heels.
Yeah.
That's fine. You know what I mean? They put on great matches. That's all you need. Cesaro was incredibly strong. He did some impressive shit with Big E, who is a massive man. Big E had an awesome spear through the ropes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was awesome.
Check out
Kofi Kingston was great. Tyson Kidd were great. They
And I just gotta say, I love the giant swing is cool.
Yep.
But their tag team move with the giant swing into the drop kick is
the spin into the giant swing into the sudden stop.
Right.
Really impressive looking.
I know,
Obviously,
it
it doesn't hurt at all because they do it all the time. But it's great.
It is great.
And I'm glad Cesaro's getting to do the move that got him over with the crowd so big.
Yeah.
He's allowed, because he just, last year when he kind of fell off the radar after WrestleMania, which is weird because he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royale.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of steam coming off that because everyone was cheering for Cesaro because he's very physically impressive and good in the ring, kind of the way Neville gets the crowd behind him just because he's so good. But then they were like, we're going to book you as a heel and now you do the move that everyone likes to see. And it's like, okay. And the crowd goes away and they're like, oh, he's just not connecting. And it's like, well, yeah, because you took away the thing that was connecting.
Yeah.
So glad he's back. There's a couple really good false finishes late.
Yeah.
That just had you like, oh my god, they're going to actually lose.
I
and
know.
then Cesaro came in and cleaned house, did the giant swing, but then, Kofi got the roll up, out of nowhere, and it didn't feel like your cheap, distraction roll up. It actually felt, with the hecticness of the match, it was warranted. Like, oh my god, he wasn't expecting it, and he got hit with it. And they won, and I think it was good to have the title go, because I think that they want to have the Lucha Dragons face a heel tag team.
Right.
And I think the Brass Ring Club is not the heel tag team that they are. So
I was going to say,
good.
one of the things I liked about this match, and that made it one of the better matches of the night for me,
second best match in the show,
was that it was that sense of, I actually don't know who's going to win this. It could go either way.
Yeah.
That suspense is something that's missing.
It was like watching a real sporting event.
Exactly.
Where you have one team doing really well and getting ahead, and then oh my god, this guy comes in and oh no, it looks like they're actually not going to win, and then it was told perfectly.
It was,
and of course you're going to get that with Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, who are both incredibly skilled technical wrestlers, and you have Big E, who's not quite as technically skilled, but very impressive physically, and Kofi Kingston, who's incredibly skilled.
Yeah.
Just putting on kind of a great match that told a good story. And
totally,
it was excellent. I loved it. And
it was great.
I hope to see more awesomeness in the tag division, because it's really kind of heated up. Ever since it was just the Usos beating everyone.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Jay, or is it maybe John, one of the two Usos is out with a shoulder injury for an extended period of time. So that's probably why they don't have the titles or aren't the baby faces chasing. So it's good to get these guys some reps. And the New Day will be defending the belt via the Fabulous Freebirds rule.
Yeah.
Which means all three of the men hold the two belts, and any two of them can defend it.
Yep.
So they just pick the two and go in them in the match. So let's see here. So that was really good. Let's talk about John Cena versus Rusev.
This was more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I agree. It was nice because they did a match that didn't include your typical
Yeah.
match that you've seen between them already twice.
Right,
you know?
right.
This was, here is the match where they're something different. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It just
Yeah,
added a
yeah,
little
yeah.
different spice to it. It's just a strap match.
Yeah.
And they called it a Russian chain match.
Yeah.
And strap matches are weird because you're supposed to touch all four corners of the ring
yeah.
without
In sequence.
in sequence, yep, without having to stop or
Yeah.
being or not. I'm sorry, not without having to stop, but without being stopped by the other person.
Yeah. Honestly, the best part of this match was the end.
Yeah,
I was kind of disappointed. I thought they really kind of underused the chain and the fact that they could have done cooler spots with it.
yeah,
I mean, there's not a ton to do with it, maybe, but like,
yeah.
I was just the whole time they practically were never near each other. Except
Yeah.
for a couple points. At the
Yeah, there are a
end,
couple
so-
spots where they're holding each other back with the chain, and they
Yeah.
both did the exact same spot, where one of
Yeah.
them was reaching and the other one was holding the chain taut, so they couldn't get there. And it was like,
Right.
what's the what? Like, why haven't both do the exact same spot for each other?
Yeah, like Rusev did a cool spot where he had like the chain over the ropes and he was doing some cool stuff there for a bit.
Yeah,
But
like
and
Cena
the
was
ending was
hanging.
awesome when they both had like three of the lights and they were like both looking towards the last one. You
Yep,
know? And,
yep, that was kind of cool, and they both kind of had
Yeah.
that Mexican standoff.
yeah, yeah.
Where they both
yeah.
had one spot left, and they had
That
to
was
both
cool.
race for it. And Cena tried to hit him with AA, but he got out of it. And then
Yeah.
they brawled again. They called it off, of course. And then the ending was a little weird too because John Cena did stop to AA Rusev, and I feel like that should have called it off. I think.
You know, I actually
because-
didn't think that at the time, but now that you mention it, it totally should have.
Yes, because there's a period where he had all three, and Rusev was still on the ground, and he got up. Rusev
Yeah.
got up, and then John Cena just ran over to him and AA'd him,
Yeah.
and then hit the last one. I was like, because the whole idea is you're supposed to not stop and do something else when you're hitting them,
Exactly.
but like the idea is that you're not supposed to be like having someone stop you, but he like preemptively stopped him. But that's like the same as like stopping to ensure that you. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
It was weird. It was.
I don't know. I didn't catch that in the moment, so I didn't really bother me.
And of
but
course, Lana and him
you're right.
had a spot moment as
Yeah.
well.
I don't
Inching
know.
closer to a little tension between the
Yeah.
two.
It's obvious they're gonna be.
Oh yeah,
breaking
for
up
sure.
soon.
It's gonna be a breakup.
Yeah, it was cool. I thought it was cool they tried something different, but on the other hand, I didn't think it was particularly exciting.
It was all right.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was 3 out of 5 stars.
Right. Right.
Nikki Bella versus Naomi for the title.
Oh, that was really good.
Yeah, I was surprised that they retained.
Yeah.
I was really excited that they actually gave they gave them a lot of time for a match.
Totally. Yeah.
It was pretty good. Issue is that the women have no time to work with each other on Raw and SmackDown, so
Yeah.
they just don't have that chemistry that the male wrestlers do just because they don't get to work as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the matches just aren't. Whereas the NXT women get all the time in the world to work matches, so they're just better. And a lot of the NXT women also are wrestlers first, whereas
Right.
Nikki wasn't a wrestler to begin with, and
Yeah.
I think Naomi was. But they had a good match, and Naomi came out with her new heel look, new entrance music. It's all right. I like that they're doing a new angle for her, so that's cool. I don't know, it was all right. Nikki won. She continues to be really impressive.
Yeah.
I turned around on Nikki. Like I was
Yeah.
Brie was my favorite Bella twin last year about
Right.
WrestleMania time because I was like, oh, she's not. Doesn't have the fake boobs. But man, Nikki Bella is just impressive. And I told Lauren, I was like, you know what? Nikki Bella's moved up the list of the celebrity gimme list.
Yeah.
Over Brie because man, she is impressive. Like, just good.
Yeah, she's definitely improved.
Getting better and better.
Even since
All right.
I started watching. Yeah.
Bo Dallas came out.
Yeah.
Pretty fun heel promo. I actually liked it, where you're like, the crowd kind of cheered, and they came out and called everyone smelly and
Yeah.
stinking heathens in Chicago. And Then they had Ryback come out and squash him.
I
was
didn't really
like,
get
why Ryback? Like,
Yeah,
what?
I don't know.
And it was like, you know, because Bray Wyatt seems to be targeting Ryback right now, and it's like, what? You're just gonna have, like, what? Like, like this seems weird. Like,
As much as I was happy to see
Bray
Bud
Wyatt,
Dallas, it didn't
100%
make
gone,
sense.
100% not at this pay-per-view. No
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt. You know, he needs some time off. You know, can't be at every single one.
Yeah.
All right, before we get to the main event, let's talk about the match of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Roman Reigns versus Big Show.
That was some good shit.
This was a match that could be a coin flip. It could either be really bad or really good.
Yeah.
Because Roman Reigns and Big Show have put on some,
Yeah.
to quote Jalen Rose, NBA player, just a keep getting them checks match. Where just, you know, just going out there, earning your buck, not doing anything special.
Yeah.
But this one, obviously Roman Reigns knows he needs to prove himself to the crowd, and they put on a damn good match.
They did. Yeah.
Just simple psychology in the match, you know, where the crowd chanted for Ambrose and Luke Harper to get tables out, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns brings a table out, and he's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to use the table here to get Big Show. And then Big Show prevented him from using the
Yeah.
table, which was kind of good.
I love,
And then
like, the whole match, they were like...
it was Chekhov's table.
Yeah,
It was just sitting out there, and you knew that table was going to get smashed, because you don't set up a table in a wrestling match that doesn't get used.
Totally.
And it was pretty good.
Yeah. The one who really impressed me during this was the Big Show, because I had gotten into this thing where, like, every time the Big Show comes out, I mean, obviously his music is awesome, his intro is awesome,
His music's awesome. His size is impressive still,
Yeah.
but he's
But,
just
like,
kind of slow.
Exactly. I just got used to him doing like really slow.
And this match
kinda
was
shitty
pretty
matches.
slow,
It was, but
but in the right way,
yeah.
where they were both kind of two prize fighters getting a couple big hits in and then falling
Right.
down and like trying to get themselves together.
And he showed us endurance too. Like,
Yeah.
he could actually like fucking.
It was
last.
a decent long match.
And everything he did felt powerful.
Yes.
As opposed to sometimes it just doesn't seem that.
Samoan
impressive.
dropped Big Show
Yeah.
through a table, and it was
Oh,
really
man.
impressive.
Yeah,
Chicago
yeah.
popped huge. I was excited. You know, this was a match that I was on my phone looking at stuff, just because I was, you know, it's a slow match. And then I was like, I have to really pay attention. This is getting
Yeah.
real interesting. And they start pulling the tables out. And
Yeah.
there was no stipulation, which is weird for an Extreme Rules match. I guess it was a last man standing match.
It was, yeah.
But I mean, that's just a match without a pin. It's
Yeah.
like the guy stays down for 10. Outside of the ring too, so it was like, you know, a regular match. But
They had some pretty decent like.
there was an incredible that spot with the choke slam from in the ring onto the two
Yes.
tables
Yes.
was impressive looking
It
and
was.
super safe. Like
Yeah.
the two chairs was good. Nobody got hurt. It looked impressive. Did the spear through the barricade, which has happened so many times,
Yeah.
and you know, I'm doing the sign of the cross, rest in peace, Spanish announce table. There was a period of pay-per-views where it was being destroyed every pay-per-view, and then
Yeah.
I believe Fastlane it didn't get destroyed, and WrestleMania it didn't get destroyed, so it was a bit of a weird that it wasn't. But this brought it back. We got it back. That was good though, because you know, like they bring it up in this review I'm reading, but slow doesn't always equal boring, and in this way it didn't. It wasn't a boring slow. It was an interesting slow.
Yeah.
And there was just an incredible spot of him spearing him onto the Spanish announce table,
Yes.
destroying the table utterly, like just laying out Big Show. Impressive. This is some Brock Lesnar style impressive shit.
Yeah.
And exactly what Brock Lesnar actually did to the Big Show last year at the Royal Rumble, I believe, when he lifted the entire announce table on top of him.
That was
I loved
great.
that.
Yeah, me
and
too.
actually was excited for Roman Reigns, just being impressive,
Yeah.
and then lifting an entire announce table on top of Big Show, and then standing on it with his arms raised as the
Right.
count out happened. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like
pretty
that's
awesome.
impressive. Like yeah, so you know, there's of course the CM Punk. Got to make Roman Reigns look strong, but they did it correctly here.
I think so too.
It looked strong, and it definitely felt earned, and that was really good. So, Roman Reigns goes up a few more notches. And I know, of course, the diehard smarks are still fuck Roman Reigns, but
I've never
it's
been
getting
on that
harder
train.
and harder to say fuck Roman Reigns when he's putting on matches like
I
this.
know.
I
I've never been on that train. I think he's a good
Well,
performer.
should have been on that train a year ago, but I think the last 2 or 3 pay-per-views from Fastlane, WrestleMania, they've all been good matches.
They have,
and
yeah.
this was bona fide match of the night.
Totally.
And to have Roman Reigns get match of the night out of Big Show is very impressive.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for him going on. And I haven't bought in yet because it's still got that. He's still got this the stank on him.
No, I'm in.
He's still got the stank. It's the problem is that, and I don't know why they don't get this, but when you push somebody hard like Roman Reigns over other people that are
Yeah.
fan favorites, it's kind of what the Authority did with Seth Rollins, but not in kayfabe. You know what I mean? And it's like people are going to react the same way they do with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's not technically in kayfabe, but fans still are kind of like, come on, man, we want to see Ziggler, you know.
I do want to see Ziggler.
I know. But he continues to be in the top pay-per-views.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue on. We can get to our wrestler rankings for
Yep.
May. We're going to do this each month. I want to see if we change our mind. So at the end of each month, we'll, after each pay-per-view, we'll rank where we think wrestlers are.
Yeah.
You know, and so we got our May rankings in. We can talk about our top 10s and where we think and kind of who's bad and what we think about each other's scores. But
Okay.
the main event was all right.
Yeah, the ending ruined it for me.
I think I booked a better ending in my head. And that's always the worst in matches.
Yeah.
When you're watching it and then you book a better ending in your head and then they do something way worse. And you're like,
Yeah.
man. Like, it's okay if they do something different and it's also awesome. And you're like, oh, that was a great way to do it. So basically it's just a basic match. Actually, I think he had maybe one RKO attempt that
Maybe.
was, like,
I didn't
stopped.
really see anything that
I'm
was...
surprised they didn't have him
Yeah.
throw up, like, Rollins to do an RKO and then be like mid RKO, like drop him and be like, shit, I can't use that move.
Yeah.
Didn't do that. They teased the punt,
Yeah.
which he hasn't done in a long time. Curb stomp's still banned, which
Yeah.
is sad. But
I thought that's what they were setting up, actually. I thought he was going to curb stomp him, but...
nope. Didn't,
Yeah.
Oh, have him curb stomp him? Yeah.
I thought that'd been funny, because...
That would have been funny, actually, yeah.
I
But
thought
I
that was
think
gonna be...
the curb stomp is supposedly a dirt sheet saying WWE legal said you should probably stop doing that move.
Okay, sure.
We got all these lawsuits about concussions, so can't really do the head smashing into the ground thing,
Yeah.
which is funny because they've been doing it for a goddamn year now,
Right.
and all of a sudden they're like, oh shit! But he is the main event champion now, so he gets a lot more play.
Yeah.
Even though he was basically main event champion all last year too, but. So they kind of had a little bit of Kane, not knowing if he really wanted to support this smarmy little bastard. I know, it's just like motivation. I understand what they're trying to get
Yeah.
across, but they failed to sell it correctly to me.
This is a fucking pay-per-view main event. I don't want it to end with fucking bullshit.
Exactly. And this is the exact argument that they say is that it's pay-per-views, it's possible to set up payoff at another show with this whole Kane Seth Rollins stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
But pay-per-views are built to conclude stories.
Exactly.
Why are we having a story build off of a pay-per-view?
Yeah. I don't.
Anyway,
I don't know. Yeah. And
I came into this with the lowest of expectations, this pay-per-view. Just kind of like, oh man, I don't know. And then it just was all good wrestling. I was like, this is why I like it.
Yeah.
When you see it done well, you're like, all right. And that's the problem with SmackDown and Raw, is that it's just so much not good wrestling that happens, because not everyone's not giving their 100%.
Yeah.
Except for Daniel Bryan, of course. But he
Well,
always...
I think Ziggler too.
Of
I
course.
rarely see a bad match as ever.
Ambrose, Rollins,
Ambrose,
Ziggler, all those guys, 100%. But the older guys
Yeah.
got a few more miles on them.
That's
But or Daniel Bryan, who is injured still doing suicide dives and doing interviews where he's saying he's getting yelled at by staff to stop doing his wrestling style that's dangerous. And now he's injured again. So it's like, Daniel Bryan, you were a submission specialist to start. We can see a little bit of a move back to that, hopefully, and a little bit less of the suicide dives, because obviously it's bad for your health. Anyway, I think hopefully he'll be back soon. But yeah, this was weird. So they had Kane, come in and just basically choke slam both of them.
Yeah.
Which I liked.
I did like that, yeah.
And my thought, and what I really would have liked, so with a cage match, you have to either pin the guy, submit the guy, or leave the cage.
Yeah.
What I really would have liked, Adam, would have been Kane chokeslamming both of them and having a little moment of indecision, with Rollins and what's his name, Orton, and just picking up Rollins over his shoulder, limp and lifeless, and carrying him out of the ring.
Yeah.
For the win. Just being like, fuck, I gotta do this, but I'm gonna beat the shit out of him anyway.
Right.
And then just carry him out. And it's like, yeah, you won because I carried you out, you fucking asshole.
That would have been better.
That was the way I had booked the match in my head. I was like, oh, he's just gonna knock them both out and then just carry out the guy he's supposed to so he gets the win.
Then Kane comes down and fucking Randy Orton RKO's him.
I know, and it's like, that's a moves banned, but he didn't use it on Rollins, so it's all right.
Then Rollins fucking RKO's.
I did like that Rollins RKO'd Orton, though. That was perfect smarmy bullshit for Rollins to do, though.
And also it's like, it puts in, well, does he actually... He won, but he also fucking...
Well, they rang the bell. The match was over. He won.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of like, hey...
Yeah.
You said it was banned. He's like, well, it was just banned for you. And it's like, you asshole. It was good. But I think it could have been handled better.
I think so, too.
Rather than just Kane putting the limp corpse of Rollins over Orton to end it.
And I'm not really sure what they're going for here, because I don't know if they just want to protect Randy Orton's,
They do.
But, like, he got through smarmy means, but if they're going to make Seth Rollins the champion, even if he's a heel champion, I don't think it would kill him to have him have a clean.
He's got to have some decisive wins too.
Yeah, I think so.
Fair enough.
But
it's something they don't do often enough for heels in the WWE, though.
Yeah,
they always have him win through bullshit.
I can understand that to an extent.
To an extent.
Yeah,
but come on. Sometimes the bad guy has to win a match clean.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's only fair.
I think it would have been cool that Randy Orton beat him, but then after WrestleMania, after he has the belt, he has the confidence, and he shows him up.
But he did show him up though in the ring. I mean, it was a great match, and he did RKO him. I don't know. And there was that match that he lost against Cena and Lesnar at Royal Rumble, where he was incredible. He did that 360 Phoenix splash, and an elbow from the top rope all the way to the table. It was one of the best moments of the year. Still,
totally.
Is him flying through the air like the 15 feet to the table.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And it sounds like Payback will be a triple threat with Orton, Rollins, and Roman Reigns.
That could be cool.
Yes, and I think Kane is going to interfere again.
Oh, fucking God.
Well, I think that's where this storyline's going.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Kane's going to have to make his decision, and I think Orton may end up with the belt.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks for Rollins, because I think he needs to be champion a little longer, but you know what?
I like Randy Orton, though.
He's proved himself. Oh, I know. Randy Orton's an acceptable champion.
Yeah.
All right, let's see where you ended up on your wrestler rankings, Adam. Let's go through it.
It's kind of funny, because I did these, and I didn't even really check the actual totals. Really,
that's exactly the way I did it, and I thought that was the fairest way to do it.
And I didn't really look at your scores or anything.
Yep,
so.
I think that's the fairest way to do it with your scale. And we're not going to compare numbers to each other as much, but we're going to compare who number one. I think that so looking at your list, my list, and Eric's list, some clear number ones show up.
Okay.
Who do you think is the number one person on everyone's board?
It's On everybody's board?
Yep, everybody's board except for Eric's, because Eric's is bullshit, but we'll get into it.
Okay.
Eric's my brother, by the way. I don't think I've explained. He and I watch wrestling together.
I'm guessing it's probably going to be either one of the, like, Finn Balor or
Just
Seth
announce
Rollins.
who it is. Who is the number one in points on both of our lists?
I don't know. I can't
Guess.
tell.
Give
Is
me
it-
the guess.
I must say Finn Balor.
Oh, come on.
Seth Rollins? I don't know. Is it really Cena?
Of course.
Okay.
Dude, he is great.
Like I said, I didn't really look at the numbers, so I
There's
wasn't
no
sure.
way around it. For me, okay, so to talk about the scale that we're using, Bret Hart talked about this in the interview.
Yeah.
He came up with a ranking system, where he would be. There are 3 tens that you rank, and then this is slightly adjusted. But David Shoemaker, the Mask Man, who's a wrestling writer, I'll put the article up. Damn it.
Did you sort mine? You did.
Yeah,
sort mine.
it's not. You can't sort both at the same time.
Oh, okay.
We're just going to have to go through each at a time. Let me just put a note to get article linked so you can go to bornintheeighties.net episode. You can read that article that he wrote with his rankings to kind of see how the scale system kind of works.
Yeah.
But with the ranking system, basically, Bret Hart said he had a ranking system, and he would say, on my best day, I'm probably a 7 for looks. I'm 10 in the ring, and maybe an 8 on the mic. 7, 8 on the mic. So,
Yeah.
That's what he thought of himself. The ranking system is basically, you got a 1 out of 10 for look. And this isn't just like attractiveness, but we're talking like overall style and your impact of your appearance, just the way that you're presented. Because Brock Lesnar is not a very pretty man,
No.
but he gets a 10 because he is scary looking as hell, and that's the way his character
I wouldn't
is.
give him a 10, but
That's
sure.
a 10. He is an obvious 10.
I would not agree with that, but it's
I don't know how you could not agree with that.
I definitely could.
I would also mention that I believe Brock Lesnar isn't on any of our lists.
He is not.
Now that I'm looking through it.
Neither is Sheamus.
Oh, shit. Well, I gotta add him. I skipped a few.
Yeah.
But I doubt any of them would... Well, Brock Lesnar probably would end up in my top 10. But for instance, let's talk about the top of everyone's list, although you have him tied with Ziggler, which is crazy.
Who? Cena?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And Eric has Kevin Owens 2 points higher than John Cena, which I think is completely wrong.
That's a bit much.
I know he's in love with Kevin Owens, but I believe he gave him a 10 for looks, and I don't think that that's
No, I
accurate.
would not agree with that either.
John Cena.
Yeah.
Now, like for instance, John Cena, super handsome man, right?
Yep.
Impressive specimen. You gave him a 9. You refuse to give 10s for looks here on yours a lot, but
Yeah.
my 10s for looks are your John Cenas, your Roman Reigns, obviously, your Finn Balor.
I give a 10 for Finn Balor.
Those are guys that look attractive, like impressive and, handsome.
Yeah.
But who else got 10s? Bray Wyatt gets a 10 for me because he is not an attractive man, but my God, does he look perfect for his character. And he has a very unique look.
I gave Enzo Amore a 10.
I also gave Enzo Amore a 10 because he is incredible looking. And he is perfect for his character.
Exactly.
And who else is incredible looking? Rusev. He is a Russian monster, and he looks like a Russian monster.
I
who's
gave Adam
cooked up
Rose
in a
a
lab.
9.
Well, what'd you say?
Adam Rose, I gave a 9.
Well, that's a bit high.
Come on, he looks exactly like his character.
Well, I think I gave Ambrose an 8. So I think that that's one
Also
part
gave
of
Stardust a 9.
it. That's I
Tyler
would agree.
Breeze.
Stardust has a very unique look. Tyler Breeze, I give a 7.
Oh, come on.
Well, the Miz has
Prince
been doing
Pretty.
the same. Miz is doing the same gimmick, Adam. But let's not
Breeze
get
is
down
better
to
at it,
fighting
though.
about our mid
All right,
carders.
all right.
Because neither of us had them in the top, 10 probably.
Yeah, I bet I did.
Well,
Have some of them.
yeah, you're weird. Because my top 10 is 100% accurate.
Well, sure, okay.
Let's go through it here. So, number 1, John Cena. He's a 10 for looks, 10 for mic skills, because he can command a room. In ring, I gave him an 8. He's a little bit older and a bigger guy, so he isn't quite as fast as he used to be, but he's still incredibly technically good. And intangibles, a 9. He's got, and intangibles like the indefined, the je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
The it factor, the crowd support, the charm, just they ooze something. You know what I mean?
I gave him a 10 in that area.
There's something there. Yeah, I mean, that's him. I give him a 9. I mean, it's just, I think he got a 9 just because he's kind of wrestling a little stale of a gimmick, but he still works it well, so.
Yeah.
Anyway. He's number 1. Number 2, Seth Rollins. I gave him a 9 for looks. Mike's skills aren't quite as good as John Cena. He's a 7 for me. He needs some time. In-ring, obvious 10. For me, the in-ring, you gave no one a 10 in the ring, I see.
That's not true, I don't think.
Nope, 100% true. You have 0 10s for in-ring.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
But in-ring, my 10s are, you got your Seth Rollins. I gave Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, and Kalisto, and Neville. I think those are all people that are always super impressive in the ring with their wrestling acumen. That's it, really. Whereas in the ring, you have a 2 for an Enzo Amore, a 2 for a Sin Cara or Darren Young. I mean, people that are actively bad in the ring.
I don't think Enzo's anymore a 2. They've been doing better.
You need to watch Enzo matches and watch him carefully.
We said this is at the beginning of May. This is.
I know. I'm saying
at this time. I don't think he's a 2 anymore.
Watch his matches. Enzo Amore from NXT.
He's only had 1 match in May.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. I'm not saying in May. I'm saying up to the start of May. So all of creation. Otherwise, we wouldn't do the May rankings for May. May is as of May 1st. This is where our rankings are. So I say Enzo is a 2 because if you watch his matches, he's protected in every single one of them. His spots are always getting hit and then rolling out, or that. He doesn't spend a lot of time doing things in ring. You don't see him doing moves. You see him taking moves.
Doesn't. That's not. Yeah, but taking bumps is just as important.
It is, but you also need to be able to have a back and forth with someone to have a real match.
He's in a tag match.
Yeah, exactly. That's a 2. You gave him way too high.
To be fair, I did not give anybody under
you gave
a
him
5.
A 5 is probably not completely unfair.
And here's the thing: I didn't give anybody lower than a 5 other than Jack Swagger.
For what he does, Enzo probably is a 5. You know, he's adequate for what they need of him.
Exactly. Anyway. That's the thing. Like, most of the time, I enjoy.
These are 100% subjective, though.
Yeah, I can recognize good wrestling, but to me, like, a 5 is adequate. And most of the time, pretty much everybody that I watch, if they're in pro wrestling, they're pretty much adequate for what they're doing.
Well, let's look at my top 10 here.
Other than Jack Swagger, because he's a garbage man for garbage people.
Let's look at my top 10 here.
Right.
I think this is pretty accurate to what I think is my top 10. I'm going to say John Cena is number 1, Seth Rollins number 2. And then it kind of is a tie for score here with the next ones, but I'm just going to say them in the order that I like them.
Okay.
We're going to say Bray Wyatt is number 3, Rusev, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, all tied, but, so the order doesn't necessarily matter as much there. They're all pretty much exactly the same in goodness. Mm-hmm. Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens. That's my top 10.
Okay.
Cesaro, he's the 11. Just outside the top 10.
That's rough.
It is rough, but, I gave him an 8 for look, 5 for mic skills, because people say he's bad, which I don't see, because you see him do promos sometimes, and they're really funny and good. But sometimes they're not perfect, so 5. 10 in ring. He's incredible. I mean, he can do shit that is physically impressive that other guys can't do. And intangibles, I give him an 8. Maybe it's a little higher. I like him. So there's the 8. But anyways, that's my top 10. Just outside of it, you got your Bad News Barretts, Daniel Bryan, as of now, Daniel Bryan, of course. The intangibles, of course, would go up, and he's never been perfect on the mic. I gave him a 5, which is lower than what you gave him, but I guess I'm just harsher than you. But
I think he's okay with the crowd. Like, I think he does.
That's true. To be fair, you're right. That's true. That could be. But I guess I put his points in intangibles there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you also gave him a 10 because, I mean, he does get
He
the
has
crowd to
some
go.
weird charisma that, I consider intangible.
It's the same kind of Sami Zayn, just
Yeah.
he's a really nice guy. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
hard to dislike him when he's doing well. And you feel good when he's doing... Just like when you see Sami Zayn doing well in a match, you just feel good. You're like, yeah, the good guy's getting something good going here.
Yeah.
So that's my top 10. Let's sort your...
I was going to say, I can't really see mine that well anyway, because I don't have a whole lot of width on my...
It's about to be sorted top 10.
Okay.
All right. Your number one,
Tied for number one.
tied for number one. Would you say? Who's your number one? You could pick between your two.
Well, okay. If we're going by favorites, Dolph Ziggler is my number
Okay,
one.
that's fair enough.
I
He's-
love Dolph Ziggler.
He's worthy.
I love that man.
I think you gave him a little too high on Mike's skills, but I think Look at 9 is good. He has a
Yeah,
very
Look at
unique
9.
style, very
I
good
gave
entrance.
I gave him a 10 Mike skills because he's like that Sheamus thing. In fact, like where he's like pulling up the one cheek, and he's always got like the grin. He's always got like the comeback, and I think
I
he's
agree with you.
Really
I
good
agree
on
with
that.
you. And then in ring, a 9. Yep, I think he's
Yep.
just a step out of the holy shit. I can't believe a man
Yeah.
can do that. Which
Right.
I think the 10 is like I can't believe like you can tell this story this well. He's great
Yeah.
though. A 9, definitely.
Yep.
And you gave him 10 for
10
intangibles.
intangibles.
I gave him an
just
8.
'cause- Yeah. I just think he has that whole thing working for him. He's got like the kind of 80s
has a
vibe.
really
He's got
good
the
style.
hair. He's got it all together. A consistent persona that works for him.
I mean, with Eric's rankings, I believe he was also in the top
Yeah.
10 as well. So I mean, he's very clearly a top 10 wrestler.
Yeah, he's my favorite wrestler.
You got all right. Rounding out the rest of your top 10, you have John Cena.
John Cena.
Number 2, tied for number 1.
Yep.
He's just gonna go to 2 for you.
I'm
Fair
actually
enough.
kind of surprised to see that Kevin Owens is by number 3.
Well, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins are all tied for.
Oh yeah, they're all tied. Okay, yeah. So yeah,
I
Kevin
think
Owens,
it's just
Finn
alphabetical
Balor.
at this point.
So if I actually put these in
something.
terms of what I like, probably it would be Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens
Now,
as
I just
3,
want to
4, and
speak
5.
to my brother here. I don't know if he listens, but you gave Finn Balor a total overall adjusted heart score plus,
Yeah.
which includes the intangibles column,
Yeah.
not just the heart score. Heart score plus, you gave Finn Balor 32, or I gave him a 32.
Yeah,
You gave him a 37. Your scores were all higher than mine.
my scores were mine. I
but you know,
tracked higher.
they're compared against your own scores, so.
Right.
And we'll have this list. I'll have a top 10 list with scores on the website too, so you'll be able to see this if you're listening. Because we're kind of talking about it as if you can see it, and it's kind of hard. But so I won't try and get to it. But Eric has Finn Balor at 24. Who is not even close to his top 10.
Man, that's rough.
It is rough. Considering Kevin Owens has a 38.
Oh my god.
He gave him a 10 for looks, a 10 for mic skills, 8 in ring, and 10 intangibles.
I don't know how he gets a 10 looks. Like
He does not get a 10 in looks. You gave him an 8. I think I gave him a 6.
I was gonna say, I think even an 8 is generous. And
He doesn't have a super unique look.
no.
I think the mic skills is where he gets his 10
Yeah.
from. I think that his charisma comes from him talking,
Yeah.
not from his physical, because he's shorter. He's 5'10 or 5'11.
And actually, I gave him a 9 in ring, which I think is probably a little high too. Now that I think about it.
I gave him a 9 as well. But no, it's not just, now I say in ring, it's not just strength or
Yeah.
being able to do moves. It's being able to tell a story in the ring.
Yeah,
which
that's
he's
true.
Very
yeah,
good
yeah,
at
he
as
is
a
good
heel.
at that. You're right.
He
I'll
is
stick
very
with that. I'll
good.
stick with that.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
I probably
And
should
I
have
gave
lowered
him-
his look a bit.
Yeah, I gave him a 7 for intangibles. You gave him a 10.
Yeah.
I think my 7 is a bit low
Yeah, probably.
because he gets a crowd response.
He does. Oh,
just
man,
by
does he.
talking, and he's good.
Yeah.
So anyway, Seth Rollins as well up there. Yep.
Yeah,
He's
so I
pretty
say,
much,
yeah, Finn Balor
pretty
at
much almost
3.
10s across the board there. I agree with you. Eric gave Finn Balor a 5 for look, which
What
is
the fuck?
I know he was like, I just don't like his face paint. I think it's dumb. His
It's
entrance
part
is
of the
stupid.
thing, though. It's man.
I know.
That's
His mic
nuts.
skills he gave a 5, which I probably agree with, but he doesn't really talk a lot. I gave him a
know
5
what-
as well for
What did I
mic
give him
skills.
I gave him an 8.
8, it's a bit high, I think.
That's a bit high. Yeah.
He doesn't talk a lot, but when he does, it's pretty good.
I think it's pretty good. And he's also got that Irish voice. So
I know, right? He's newer,
yeah.
but so it's harder to rank.
Yeah.
These will flesh themselves out over months and months. I can get some sweet Excel graphing going on here. We can see month-to-month scores.
Yeah.
And see whose stock is rising and whose is going lower.
You can tell my top 10 are because they have really high intangibles. Like, that's where they got a lot of their score, I think.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how it is with wrestling.
And that's right through, like, this shit where, like, I don't really know if this is, I like them. That's the intangibles, is, like, pretty much how much I like them.
Do you know who's not my exact favorite wrestler in the world? I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
10 for looks.
Yeah.
5 for mic skills. He's gotten better. He's adequate.
I think I gave him a 6. I don't remember
Okay,
exactly.
fair enough. 7 in ring. He's getting better. That's good. 10 for intangibles, though. Because that guy's just got something,
He does.
Something about him really gets people...
He's actually lower down my list than I thought he would be.
Yeah, he's not even in your top 10.
No.
He's not even in your top 15.
No,
maybe
he's
not
not.
even in your top 20.
Surprisingly.
Well,
that's because we're including
That's
NXT
because
guys.
you gave your scores really high.
I did. Yeah.
So yours are all you're got a big tie going on. Anyway, let's move on.
So 3, 4, and 5. Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens.
You got another 4-way tie coming up here.
Is it really?
Yes.
Shit.
So I'm going to say probably Sami Zayn or Dean Ambrose is next. Knowing
next would be Next would be Sami Zayn,
you. Okay. Yep.
and then Dean Ambrose at 7,
Yep.
followed by Bray Wyatt
Okay.
at 8,
Yep.
and Enzo Amore at 9. I don't know how Enzo ended up high. I guess just because.
Well, when you think about it, Adam,
Yeah.
10 for look for sure.
Yeah.
10 for mic skills for sure.
Yeah. I gave him a 5 in ring.
Which is all right.
Yeah.
And you
gave
give him a
10
10 for intangibles, which I think he pretty much deserves that or pretty close to that.
Yeah.
To be honest, think about it this way.
I thought this when I was.
Here's the thing. You're getting... Because the way we rank these, we didn't just go through and got our 10 to be exactly what we thought our 10 was.
Exactly.
It's kind of... the way that you do the rankings, it's kind of just... without looking to see what your top 10 is and just adjusting the scores, it was how do you feel objectively about each of these wrestlers and be like, you know what? Enzo Amore is probably one of the top 10 guys I like to watch.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
For me, I think he was 11 or 12. He was just outside the top 10.
Yeah.
He gets a little bit better in ring, and he's going to be up there.
So that's 9, I guess, for me, and then 10 is Damian Sandow somehow.
Yeah. I think you gave him intangible score of 10 a little bit erroneously. And the look is 8 a little bit high, too.
Yeah, look is too high.
Mike skills are all right.
Mike skills is all right.
In
ring's
ring,
probably all right.
Yeah, 7. He's
a
good.
little below average, yeah.
A little below good. A little below great.
Yeah.
He works well.
I gave him a 9 intangibles, but yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow he ended up in there. I actually would probably prefer Stardust.
He's your 9th, actually. Your 10th would be Stardust.
10th would be Stardust. Okay. That's kind of cool.
Wait, this is wrong.
This has got to be wrong.
Oh, it's not wrong. I'm sorry. I'm looking at your heart score. God, this is awful for podcasts. I had this whole thing set up, and it's hard to talk to. You have like a 10-man tie at 33.
Oh, yeah.
With Damian Sandow just happens to be at the top.
Oh, okay.
So you can pick between all the way down to Rusev for your 9 and 10.
Shit. Okay.
So I'm going to guess it's probably Rusev and Tyler Breeze rounding out the top 10.
It'd probably be actually Stardust and Tyler Breeze.
Okay, fair enough.
And actually, or maybe Daniel Bryan.
Hard to rank Daniel Bryan, having not wrestled a lot recently.
I think I'm going to put him at 11. I think Tyler Breeze and Stardust are up at 9.
That's good. That's a good top 10. All right, well, we can't talk about this too much more. If you want to see more data, it's all going to be on the website, so you can see and compare where you think guys are going to be with who we got
Hideo
ranked.
Itami. How did he get so low?
It's just how it is, man.
Because he
It's
can't
subjective.
talk. That's why.
That's right. He doesn't. You gave him a 5. I didn't give him less than a 5 because honestly, think about this. He doesn't really speak English 100%, so
No, he doesn't.
hard to give him a good mic
It is
score.
hard to give him a good score.
But he did have a couple promos where he does come across as very genuine though.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though he's kind of a little broken English, you do see him very excited when things happen. And you do feel good for him. So he is, even though he can't speak English well, still kind of coming across pretty well on the mic.
Yeah.
And I guess just for funsies, let's see what
Surprise, surprise! Guess who's at the bottom of my list?
Jack Swagger.
Jack fucking Swagger. Yours
Somehow
too.
No, he's not at the
Oh,
very
no?
bottom.
Not
He's
very
the very bottom of the list is Sin Cara.
Oh, right. Okay.
And my very bottom of my list is Darren Young, Sin Cara, Fandango, Jack Swagger is just barely above Sin Cara, Eric Rowan. You know, it's just kind of like, not great. All right, let's see Eric's top 5 or top 10 here. In no particular order: Kevin Owens, Dean Ambrose, John Cena, Seth Rollins, Bad News Barrett, Randy Orton, Tyler Breeze, Sami Zayn, Bray Wyatt, Enzo Amore. And then he's got Tyson Kidd, The Miz, and Ziggler all tied. So, all in all, not completely different than our lists. A few. He has Kevin Owens though as the clear leader, above Dean Ambrose and John Cena, or just a point below, which is interesting.
Yeah.
To say the least. I had him in my top 10, but not number 1. All right, well, that's our rankings. We're going to look into maybe working on a fantasy draft or something
Yeah.
in the future, possibly, where we're going to go through the rosters. We can use our rankings to pick who we think we want on our teams. Mm-hmm. And then we'll there must be a scoring system. I'll look into it next week. We'll come back with that, and you guys can play along and we can see, because I guarantee you there's rules for a fantasy wrestling with which is probably not necessarily wins losses, but because with wrestling, wins and losses aren't really the true tell of how good you are or how important you are to the company, because you got to think about it as a booker, like who do you want to see, and what it is how much you're on TV is honestly how the scoring works, I think, for fantasy. So pay-per-view appearances are big, title matches or defenses are big. You know what I mean?
Right.
So people with titles are important because they get defenses, but also people that are chasing titles get a lot of points too because they get those title matches. But we'll look into that, and maybe we can do a women's ranking as well, just for fun for next week. So I'll pencil that in, women's rankings, because I do have a list. We need to add Sheamus. Let me just add them to my list. Who'd you say?
I said Sheamus. You said somebody else. I forget who you said was not on there. Oh, babyface man. Brock Lesnar.
Oh, yeah. Babyface man. But, for me, Brock Lesnar's, probably a 10 for looks. Dude,
Sorry.
He is the scariest looking man. It's perfect. He's a monster. He looks like it. Anyway, Mike skills, a 2, maybe a 3. In-ring, probably a 9. Intangibles, definitely a 10. He's probably in the top 10. Sheamus is probably out of it. He's pretty average across the board. Although I do like his look now, because at least it's different than a typical carrot head. All right, this has been almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks, but thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
NXT, we didn't really get to talk about. It was a great episode, though.
It was.
And Dana Brooke was good again.
Yeah.
All right, that finish was impressive.
It was, but Bailey.
But she lost via distraction. It's setting up a feud.
But Bailey.
What?
I want her to win stuff.
Well, she's like Daniel Bryan. She's the perennial underdog. She's gonna get hers, and it'll be worth it when it happens.
I hope so.
But I think Sasha Banks might be the person that she's gonna win it from, because I think Becky Lynch isn't gonna win at TakeOver. Something.
I will say I didn't hardly even watch the main event NXT.
Oh, really?
It was. I watched some of it. I don't know.
The ending was the interesting part.
Exactly.
I love Kevin Owens. He's so good.
He is good.
And just the match, because basically the match just slowly moved outside of the ring.
Right.
And he just pounced.
Yeah.
He's at the announce table, kind of basically threatening to murder all the people there, with his talking. And then he sees them get out of the ring in front of him. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to beat the shit out of both of them, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And he did. And it was impressive.
I mean, it works for him, but I also thought it was kind of a repeat. I mean, this is the third guy who's powerbombed into the curtain.
Well, I think that's his thing.
Or the apron. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it is. He's just... destroying people.
I think he needs to find another way to destroy people though too.
Yeah.
Keep it new. Think of another move that looks devastating and do it. Anyway, that's it. We will catch you next week.
Yep.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
All right, levels sound fine. Adam? 169.
Yeah.
Feeling fine.
Yeah.
You see you're adding things? You actually have topics this time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's do this shit. Y'all ready for this?
You're ready for this.
Wow, you added a bunch of fucking shit.
Yeah.
We're ready.
We are.
Y'all ready for this? Did you watch the fight?
No.
Good.
Was it not
Neither
good?
did I.
Oh, really?
I chose not to.
Oh.
I don't watch boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the two best boxers of the last, like, decade fighting each other.
Yeah. Oh, what Mayweather was this?
Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Junior. Okay, I was like, Floyd Mayweather was.
Nope, Money
forever
Mayweather.
old. Okay.
The, wife beating illiterate guy.
Yeah.
The wife beating illiterate billionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
Do you know that he has 2 Bugatti Veyrons?
I did not know that.
2 Bugatti Veyrons. Do you know what that is?
Yes, it's a very expensive car.
Not only is it a very expensive car,
Very rare.
there's like 600 of them,
Yeah.
and they cost them more to produce than they sold them for, because they're just kind of like a concept like that.
Yeah.
And he has 2 of them. And you know what he says he does with all of his fancy, awesome cars?
What?
Doesn't drive them.
Oh.
They're too expensive. Which is why supercars are the dumbest shit in the world.
So was his dad a boxer too?
I don't know. I don't fucking know anything about him. All I know is that he has been charged 5 times with assault on women. So
Okay.
he's a real bad asshole.
Yeah.
He also apparently can't read,
Okay.
which is like there's like a stigma around not being able to read. You know, like it's awkward and terrible, and he grew up and didn't learn how to read.
Yeah.
Also, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're like a billionaire. You could spend some fucking time learning how to read.
You would think.
You know what I mean? It's not like you're lacking the funds or time or
You could purchase
to
a
do
tutor.
it. Exactly. And he doesn't, because like literally he's awful. And like in his free time, he like Skypes the troops and does like shows them his mansion on like takes a laptop around. He's really kind of just an awful person.
I see.
Hangs out with Justin Bieber.
Oh.
He's
definitely awful.
really just a garbage human being. Also one of the best boxers, like probably top 10 of all time.
And I've never heard of the other guy, Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
He's no dime store peach either.
Yeah.
Yeah, he at least he's like in government.
Okay.
I think he's a senator.
Wow.
I think.
From Mexico?
No, Pacquiao. Come on.
I don't know.
You know what Pacquiao is?
Nope.
I'm looking it up. Also, he has a hard name to spell.
P-A-C.
You know why he has a hard name to spell?
What?
You know why he has a hard name to spell?
Why?
Because he's from
Mexico?
the Philippines.
Oh, the Philippines.
Yes, he's Filipino. Mexico's not far off though, because Filipinos are Spanish. A lot of people
Of
from
Latin descent?
Yes, a lot of people. Well, it's like Mexico.
Yeah.
Spanish and native people way long ago when they took over,
Right.
kind of joined together. So it's kind of cool. But anyway, what does he do now though? I think he's a senator in like in the Philippine Senate.
Okay.
Yep.
And
So
a
he does
boxer.
that. Also, he's super Catholic and like against gays and stuff, so that's bad.
Oh, that makes sense.
But when I said it this way, at least he doesn't beat women.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a bigot and have terrible opinions, you can have those opinions changed.
Yeah.
You know, through education and not being an idiot. But if you're someone who beats up women all the time, you're a terrible person. You're like a garbage person.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready to start. I don't really want to talk about that on the podcast.
Yeah,
so.
sure.
It'll be after the credits, though, so people hear it. Are you ready for this?
I am.
Oh, you didn't do the song.
Welcome
to Adam. I did it on purpose.
I know.
I know. Yeah, you
I thought
know
you
me.
did.
You know me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know me. You down with J. Rowe D?
You
Danger?
don't know me.
John Rowe
What
Danger?
time is now?
That's John Cena.
I know.
All right, Adam.
I know him.